And welcome back inside Houston. The Huskies and the Wolverines about to collide. This is the AT&T pregame showcase. Now to the PA announcer, John Magrino.
Tonight, our nation's colors are presented by the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard from the Military District of Washington, including members of the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, and Coast Guard.
Present arms!
And now, to perform our national anthem, joined by American Sign Language performer William Stokes, a 12th grade student from Houston's Region 4 Regional Day School Program for the Deaf. Please welcome Grammy Award-winning superstar and lead actress in Warner Brothers' The Color Purple, Fantasia Barrino Taylor.
Can you see by the dawn's early light, which so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies lay glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. God bless you all.
Michigan broke the Big Ten sportsmanship policy.
Suspension of Coach Jim Harbaugh.
No matter what happens, I have my brother's back. That's the equation, just brotherhood.
The noise we've been through, everything that we've done to get to this point, there's not a team in the country that can beat us.
Doubted by many all year.
We've embraced ourselves as kind of the underdog.
We got this mentality, us versus us. We prove ourselves over and over.
We truly love each other. Our head coach loves us.
Main goal is a national championship. We're more locked in as ever.
No, we got one more to go.
We got one more though! We are built for this!
This is the ultimate goal, the Natty.
Jim Harbaugh likes to inspire his teams with videos featuring predators, and he wants for this game his team to fight together and play like a hungry pack of wolves, which he calls the perfect fighting units. Michigan so dominant throughout the season, but had to respond when trailing in the second half for the first time against Alabama. Back to back-to-back Big Ten championships, as close as they've been in a quarter century. Washington, Pac-12 champions, underdogs for the fourth time in the last 5 games. Has any team ever won a title winning 4 upsets in the last 5? That's the way they like it. Michigan almost a touchdown favorite tonight. Not the traditional Wolverine uniform, Kirk, but the all blues that they wore to beat Ohio State and Iowa in the conference championship.
Absolutely. They believe in different looks, and this one is one of the favorites of the players. And here come the Huskies.
In the all whites.
Yep.
The last 10 of their 21 straight wins by 10 points or less. That's incredible. Doubt them if you want, but there's no team this season that has a more proven pedigree in crunch time, when things are tight, when it comes down to the last possession. There's Rome Odunze, their brilliant wide receiver. Penix has triplets, talented wide receivers who will play in the league that Harbaugh's defense will have to contend with tonight. Everything he's been through, Michael Penix says, namely 4 season-ending injuries in Indiana, got him ready for this moment. He is resilience embodied. J.J. McCarthy, Harbaugh calls him the best quarterback ever at Michigan. They've had some good ones.
Yeah, number
Harbaugh
10,
included.
Number 10, number 4, and number 10. Pretty good.
Blake Corum, the man who just willed Michigan into the offense. They rode his back into the end zone. The decisive touchdown.
It's great energy in here, man. Sometimes you get to a national championship, you wonder what the scene will look like in a neutral site. These fans have traveled quite a bit, and we have an awesome scene in here.
I would say crowd edge, maize and blue. They have purchased most of the neutral tickets. Each school got 20,000. Captains for the coin toss. Corum on the right. You see man on the crutches there is Rayshon Benny, the defensive tackle, who was injured in that Rose Bowl victory. Very nice. They're making him one of the honorary captains tonight.
There's Steve Ipman of the '91 national championship team.
He beat Michigan, by the way, in the Rose Bowl by 20 points to earn Washington's most recent championship. Marcus Woods, in charge of this ACC crew tonight, will take us through the coin toss.
All right, congratulations, Captain, on a fantastic season, and welcome to the College Football Playoff National Championship. My name is Marcus Woods, this is Danny Worrell, and we are here representing the Atlantic Coast Conference. Today's coin, 2024 will be heads. NRG Stadium will be tails. Washington, you will call the flip. What's your call?
Tails.
Tails. Tails is a call. It's tails, you won the toss. You're gonna defer, you want the ball, which way you want to kick? All right, move your backs there. You guys move down there. Washington has won the toss and elected to defer their choice in the second half. Michigan will receive. Good luck, gentlemen.
So we'll see J.J. McCarthy and the Wolverines offense first. Great to have both Holly Rowe on the Michigan sidelines, Molly McGrath on the Washington sidelines. Molly's got Kalen DeBoer.
Coach, your running back, Dylan Johnson, so important to this offense. What has he said to you about the pain he's in and how effective he can be tonight?
Yeah, he's ready to go. Felt really good in warm-up, and so we feel good about him. He's been through this many times. Expect him to get out there, compete, and play his best game this season.
All right, thank you, Coach. Holly.
Coach Harbaugh, your team has believed for the last year that they'd be back on this stage. Why do you believe they can win it all now?
They're going to do them. You know, do you. Give it your very best. Play to the best of your God-given ability. I trust our guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Dylan Johnson's report is crucial. He's a 1,000-yard rusher, aggravated a foot injury in the last play for the Huskies against Texas. We hope he can hold up tonight. Great when both teams are full strength. Brady Gross to boot it away. Clutch kicker who was awarded a scholarship after kicking a game winner against Washington State in the locker room. Jamaj Morgan is back deep for the Wolverines at the goal line. Championship Monday, welcome to it. Morgan from the 2. And the freshman is going to be knocked down as the Huskies fly downfield and make a tackle at the 15. Maurice Himes made the play. Of course, J.J. McCarthy, 2 brilliant seasons as a Wolverine starter. In 21, he debuted in the playoff. The only loss was against TCU. He said, I promise you, we will be back. Harbaugh loved that. He made good on his promise. He was clutch against Alabama, leading his team down the field in overtime and then savoring it. The Rose Bowl was empty and the confetti was on the ground. Remember, he had a shaky start to that Rose Bowl through an interception on his first pass that was nullified by a replay review. Blake Corum makes a cut. They'll take that, Kirk. Not 5 yards on first down. Here are the impact players when Michigan's got the ball.
Yeah, it obviously starts with the offensive line and Blake Corum, his ability to get downhill against his Washington defense. We saw what Roman Wilson could do, catching the ball, made big plays late against Alabama. Tooley in the inside 91, by far their best against the run. And if they can get J.J. McCarthy into obvious passing situations, you're going to keep an eye on number 8, Braylon Trice. He can really get after it with a high motor.
Wolverines bunch in a power formation on 2nd and 6. McCarthy took a look at the tight end, now fires across the middle, and the catch is made by Cornelius Johnson. It was a quiet afternoon at Pasadena for the most part, Michigan receivers until late when Roman Wilson made some plays.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And early in this game, he does a nice job working behind this offensive line. He's had to move some pieces around with Zach Zinner. Mentioned last week he was out after the Ohio State game, got injured. Good to see him this week. Looks like he's recovering nicely from surgery, but they did a really good job against Alabama. That time they gave him enough time to work through his progressions.
Corum's got it again, running left. It's an offensive line that has a point to prove tonight. They'd won the Joe Moore Award as the top offensive line of the country back-to-back years. Washington took it away this year.
Yeah, they'll use the tight end here to just kind of seal the edge, and then they get outside with the left guard and the left tackle, Henderson and Keegan. These guys are very, very mobile. They do a good job of creating blocking angles. You can see that angle right there from Ladarius Henderson taking Braylon Trice out to open that up, and really positive yards there on 1st and 10 for Michigan.
Kalel Mullings joins McCarthy in the backfield. Going to be a long evening for Washington's defense if they give up first down runs like that. Mullings this time wrapped up, slips through a tackle, is near the marker. It is a first down. Latulina Sanoa got him.
How about Jim Harbaugh and Sharon Moore? They go a big jumbo package there. They brought in Miles Hinton to go with 6 offensive linemen, just trying to get that short yardage. But what they like to do, Sharon Moore, they want to get into formations and make Washington think about physicality and stopping the run game. And then they love the play action on early downs to try to get your eyes in the wrong spot. Test the discipline of Washington's linebackers and safeties.
There's the play fake. McCarthy backpedaling, fires across the middle. Second catch for Cornelius Johnson. He's going to be right at the marker. It's another first down.
And just talking about that on 1st and 10. Watch how it impacts the linebackers. You get into that pistol formation. They're thinking downhill run game with the way this game has started. When those linebackers get downhill, that gives him a nice room to be able to go over top of the linebackers. And this time it's Cornelius Johnson for the first down. You'll see that combination of power running, 1st and 10 play action throughout the entire game for Michigan.
Corum, or Mullings, I should say, barreling free. The physical player who's been in the background most of the season has come up big in the postseason.
Yeah, Trente Jones and Barnhart do a nice job with a double team right here. Frees up the guard to be able to come around. You want to create a dent on that side of the defensive line, which they do. And then big 77 Trevor Keegan can get around to be able to pick up a nice block. And this is, if you were envisioning how this game would go, if you're a Michigan fan, this opening drive here early, this is what you're picturing.
Play fake, McCarthy looks down the field, can't escape. And the Huskies, with their first sack tonight, slammed down for about a 4-yard loss.
That's a nice job on, remember, 1st and 10, a little play action. Trice trying to get in. Henderson keeps him out, but the pocket just collapses. Good pressure from the inside, not giving J.J. McCarthy any room at all. And great coverage downfield. He had nowhere to go with the football. Even his check down was taken away.
So finally, Washington able to get Michigan behind the sticks for a 2nd and 14. Donovan Edwards rotates in at the back. He's got the football, bumps into traffic and escapes. Donovan Edwards racing to the end zone. Michigan flexing immediately. 41 yards.
Now, Chris, let's take a peek at this. Good blocks out on the outside here, but really, to me, it's just Donovan Edwards. He runs this right, really doesn't have his head up. Here he bounces off of that block by Keegan. The defense reacts to that. They think he's down, and then a good job of keeping his head up to see green grass to the outside. And then he uses that speed, which we've not seen a ton of this year from number 7. We saw it last year, but he gets the Wolverines off to a great start tonight.
James Turner knocks it through. It's been a quiet second half of the season, but the guy they called the Don. It's his first touchdown since the Penn State game, but it shows you the depth at running back and the power up front on display. Michigan hammers away, 84-yard touchdown drive. Penix, his turn next.
Well, let's take a look from above at Donovan Edwards' touchdown run. Runs right into the back of Keegan, but great job of keeping his play alive. Washington gets out of position, and you're not going to catch Donovan Edwards once he gets to the outside. Really cool shot to see that. How excited he must be. Like you said, quiet second half. Really not the year that a lot of people expected out of him. And that guy right there is fired up to see Donovan Edwards get that touchdown.
Michigan was supremely confident they could dominate at the line of scrimmage with the running game, and that's what happened in the opening possession. They ran 8 plays and got 5 first downs. So Michael Penix Jr. talked about everything he's been through. 4 season-ending injuries at Indiana, 2 to the knee, 2 to the shoulder area. Then he followed Kalen DeBoer, been an assistant at Bloomington, to Washington. Instantly, they clicked. 2 spectacular seasons, the 2 best passing seasons in Washington history. Second to Jaden Daniels for the Heisman Trophy. And in that semifinal, 430 yards, 4th most ever in a playoff game. He's got to answer pretty quickly tonight, though. If you're a quarterback, Kirk, you can't have feeling, wow, we're going to need to score tonight.
No, he even talked about that yesterday in the meeting. Looking forward, not worrying about things. Just keep playing football.
There is Dylan Johnson. He does for this offense what Corum does for Michigan. 1,000-yard rusher. Looks okay. He's an impact player who picks up 6 yards.
He's not only an impact player because of what he can do on the field. They'd love to see him stay on the field tonight with the injuries you talked about. He gives them great balance. Rome Odunze leads this trio of wide receivers. Number 1 has great size at 6'3". Mason Graham, what a Rose Bowl performance he had. 55. Look out for him to get penetration. And then Will Johnson, one of the top corners, not just in the Big Ten, but in the country. Great size himself. Be a good matchup against Odunze at 6'2".
Empty backfield on 2nd and 4. Ball quickly out, and the catch is made by Jalen McMillan, the elite slot receiver. Part of that trifecta. It's a first down across the 40.
Yeah, they're very confident, as we said in the open, that if they can give Penix time, especially in the interior, that they've got a lot of weapons. Let's try to really spread this defense out, create space, and create one-on-one matchups for these guys to win.
Using some false tempo as they hurry to the line and then check with the sidelines. They use pre-snap motion as effectively as any offense in college football.
They do. Really do a good job of giving him some good cues because of all the motion. And here it is again, not just the motion, but the shifts.
Michigan pointing and trying to identify their keys. Penix is on the move, flips it underneath, and the catch is made by Nixon out of the backfield.
Because I think one of the big changes you'll see tonight from Michigan and Jesse Menner is last week against Jalen Milroe. I think they were worried more as much about his legs as they were about the arm. They respected the deep ball, But this is more of a sophisticated passing game with Penix and these receivers. So you might see pressure, but not the kind of pressure that they put on Alabama last week with the blitz.
Handoff inside. And Nixon with a short gain. It's so hard to sack Penix. He was rarely sacked this year because the ball does come out so quick.
Yeah, one of the best in the country. Fourth, in fact, only 11 sacks on the year. Some of that's the O-line. A lot of it is Michael Penix being able to get a pre-snap read, a good feel for coverage, and then getting the ball out of his hands quickly before that pressure can get to him.
McMillan's been a reliable third down target. Rome Odunze, their top receiver, off to the right. We're told that Dylan Johnson is in the medical tent as they apparently check out that foot. Penix pitches it out, and the catch is made by Tyler Rogers. Shakes a tackle, and the freshman gets loose for a first down in Michigan territory.
We just mentioned Dylan Johnson is in the tent, so you got to go to a true freshman in Rogers catching the ball out of the backfield. And Jesse Minter telling us the biggest key is not just matching up against those 50-50 balls, but tackling in space. If that's a good, solid tackle, they're short of the first down, but a good effort by the freshman gets the yards they needed.
Keon Sabb missed that tackle. Michigan rated the top tackling defense in the country this season by Pro Football Focus. That's a lifeline for this Husky offense, set up now at the 42. Penix again to the perimeter, and Rogers, one slips through his fingers. Molly McGrath on the Husky sidelines.
Well, Chris, after his first carry of the game, running back Dylan Johnson sought attention from Washington's athletic training staff. He told us his injuries are worse than people realize. In the semifinal, he ruptured the bursa sac in his left knee, and he keeps pointing now to his left ankle, and he's been favoring that left side of his body. He also has an injury in his right foot as well, Chris.
Molly, as you know, he's been battling injuries all year. At one point, we did a game, and he was doing acupuncture to deal with other injuries. So it's been a long grind for number 7 this year. Showed a lot of heart just to stay out there.
Yeah, he's played through pain as much as anyone. Let's see if he can get back in there tonight. There's a pre-snap penalty, so this series off to a poor start for Washington. Johnson is not just a huge part of the running game, but he's a guy
There's no foul for illegal formation. Washington called time out prior to the snap. Timeout.
I was going to say he's a huge inspirational force. The offensive line feeds off his energy and his physicality. Hope he can get back out there. Take a break.
The CFP National Championship is presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And in part by Taco Bell. And Allstate. You're in good hands.
How many kids put on a football uniform for the first time and dream about being in the position that these guys are tonight? Keep an eye on Dylan Johnson's left foot here, Kirk. Right there.
Right there at the bottom.
It's like Mason Graham landed on it. That was the concern. He could handle some pain and start, but would it be able to withstand the hit? Against Texas, he left late.
That's a tough play, regardless if you're injured or not. And here he is realizing that chances are he's going to be on the sideline the rest of the night. Put so much into it. It's the tough part of this game.
He's got about 1,000 yards rushing more than the second leading rusher on this team. That's how big a part of the run game he is. Guys will have to step up. Roma Dunze in traffic makes a catch and works his way free. Yards after the catch. A huge concern for the Wolverines tonight.
Yeah, they hit him, and I don't know if Michigan didn't see him. You see him kind of hiding. Good block by Jalen McMillan to the left there. Fatanu also does a nice job. That's great blocking downfield by Washington, and a very gifted athlete making people miss. Big play.
16-yard chunk. Penix looking downfield again. Fires a bullet low and incomplete. Nixon was well covered anyway.
Yeah, good coverage here. They're just really mixing things up, showing some man. This time they're just going to sit back and play zone. Look at Penix. He's looking right nothing there, taken away, and that's Michigan's goal right there, is to make him work through those progressions, get uncomfortable. He will throw that into traffic, and that's their goal in trying to create turnovers.
Quick look who's back in the game.
Oh,
tough guy, Dylan Johnson.
Good to see, number 7.
I agree with you. That reaction didn't look promising.
Yeah, did not.
Well, adrenaline and medicine, a powerful combination in a championship game. Play clock at 2. McMillan on the end around. Gets a couple of blocks, lowers his shoulder, and that's a solid gain. Pulled out of bounds by Rod Moore. Couple yards short of the marker.
All right, so Dylan Johnson, we're going to ask you to come back into the game, and instead of running the football, you're going to go ahead and lead the way and make a great block against a 250-pound linebacker in Junior Colson. Bang, right there. Enough to get McMillan to the corner and get him close to that first down marker.
He kind of bounced off Colson, but did enough of his job.
Yeah, 250-pound middle linebacker leads to Wolverines in tackles. He's another guy, by the way, playing in a lot of pain. The cast that he's been playing with a club on one hand and a cast on the other in Junior Colson.
3rd and 1. Johnson powers for a first down near the 10. It's no joke to play with a foot injury. Anybody that's played any sport can tell you that. Serious grit being shown right here.
No doubt about it. And then he goes right into the interior, which if he's going to be out there, he's going to have to be willing to do. And, of course, he does. Good blocking up front, led by Parker Brailsford, the center, who's undersized at 275, but athletic.
On 1st and goal, Johnson spins free, but is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Play made by Colson. It's tough to get into the end zone from this position on the field against this Wolverine defense.
It really is. Josiah Stewart right here, who gets penetration off it. He's not the biggest, 6'1", about 245, but look how he takes that block on and slows Dylan Johnson down, and that allows Junior Colson to come in and make that tackle. He is, boy, he is such good instincts. 3rd-year starting linebacker.
Speaking of grit, he's got both hands wrapped up in a cast.
Yeah, that's what I said, yeah, cast club.
End around. Jalen Polk waits for a block, but Wolverines crowd the sideline. It's 3rd and go. Josh Wallace made the play.
Interesting, since Dylan Johnson went out and then came back in, trying to take some of the lift off of him, right? They've handed the ball off to McMillan. You know, this time they hand it off to Polk.
Tight windows down here. What can Penix do with this precise accuracy? Nixon motions to the far left. West over the tight end and McMillan in the backfield. And a timeout. Have to spend their 2nd timeout in this opening possession. Important play on 3rd and goal when you come back. Coming up at the end of the 1st quarter, catch an exclusive look at Marvel Studios' new series Echo, streaming tomorrow on Disney Plus and on Hulu. Huskies trying to answer the Wolverines' touchdown. This is the 13th play of this drive. Kirk, what's their best shot here on 3rd and goal?
Well, a Dunze's dangerous in a fade, depending on who he's matched up with, or a back shoulder fade. Don't forget, one of the things they love to do is move Jalen McMillan now that he's healthy around. He was in the backfield when we circled him. Now he's off to the left over here. They give him a lot of option routes and freedom down in this area.
Kind of a condensed look for the Huskies. That's Polk in motion. Penix has total freedom. The keys to the car to change the play, adjust the protection. Done it beautifully all season. Wolverines rush 4. Penix steps up, delivers to the end zone, and it's high and over the head of Odunze, who was well covered there. There was Keon Sabb, the safety. You'd like that matchup if you're Penix, but the throw was high.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think he's looking at McMillan coming over here, man coverage. But watch what happens. The safety is waiting for some kind of crosser once it comes over. You see, he thinks he's got man coverage when he uses that motion. We got the look that we want. You got McMillan working across, but watch this play right here by the defender. Kind of takes McMillan away, waiting for him on that crosser. Great communication by Michigan.
So Grady Gross on for a chip shot here. A little bit of a shaky start to the season. Got more solid as it went on, and he just got that through the right upright. That was close. So DeBoer's team stalls inside the 10, where Michigan has been so stout this season. Special teams, an enormous factor in the Wolverines' narrow escape against Alabama. Had it all the way.
I'll take it.
7-3 Michigan.
3 points on the board.
Hope you're hyped for the NFL Super Wildcard Weekend. It wraps up on Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern Time. The Eagles, Kirk, stumbling into the playoffs. They've lost 5 of 6. Got to visit Tampa, winners of the NFC South.
Long season, right? 17 games. The Bills at one point were 6-6 at the end of November. Fresh off a loss to the Eagles in overtime. They win 5 in a row. Now they've got a lot of momentum. The Rams are dangerous. Boy, it's going to be a great storyline to see who wins this even opening weekend.
Top seed in the AFC, of course, the Ravens, and Jim's older brother, John Harbaugh, had planned to join him here. They have some plane issues with the awful weather. Well, John Harbaugh can get in to see part of this. Morgan, a yard deep. And once again, Washington's coverage team is good. Maybe just leave those things in the end zone. J.J. McCarthy experienced the bitter emotions of losing back-to-back playoff games. His only career loss on that field, watching the purple confetti of TCU. And then the joy of the Rose Bowl.
Never forget that post-game press conference after TCU. He just talked about getting back to this moment. And sure enough, big part of last week was his will to win the football game against Alabama.
He promised they'd be back as a team, and also a bunch of individuals who came back to achieve what they fell short of a year ago. Second possession for the Wolverines. Corum this time runs through an arm tackle. Latula Nasanoa had a grip on him, but he got away. Elijah Jackson gets him down. Holly?
Well, J.J. McCarthy soaked in that disappointment, but he said every single day since then, when he gets up in the morning and brushes his teeth, he's a right-handed quarterback, but he will brush his teeth with his left hand because it changes your neural patterns and makes you have alpha brainwaves. He will say to himself, "I love you, man," and he would picture himself with the rose in his teeth. This week he has pictured hosting the championship trophy. That visualization has helped him be here tonight.
Worked on himself a lot since some dark times in his high school career, which he shared. Play fake, McCarthy right down the middle of the field, caught in stride by Roman Wilson. Perfect throw, and the top receiver is loose into Husky territory.
Well, Michigan's got the tight end, A.J. Barner. They got Max Bredesen right here. And look at Washington. They got everybody up tight, and I want you to watch that safety right here come down. He thinks it's a run. He's out of position. There's Michigan's play calling again, expecting the run with the formation. They get you out of position, and the accuracy from J.J. McCarthy once again to Roman Wilson for the big gain.
Beautiful throw, loops just over the hands of the safety, Dom Hampton. 37-yard gain, back to work. It's a short throw, dangerous. It was off the hands of Samaj Morgan, and it gave the DB a chance to close on it.
Yeah, you know, the under center, the run game, the big powerful personnel groupings, then they come out and empty, which he's more than capable of doing. It's just he and the receiver, the freshman Morgan, just not quite on the same page. And he's lucky he even got a hand on that because that was headed right to Elijah Jackson, who was waiting on the football.
Man who broke up the last pass attempt by Texas to secure that dramatic win in New Orleans. He's considered the other corner on this team because Jabbar Muhammad is so good. Donovan Edwards, who scored the touchdown in the first possession, back in the game, and he's loose again. Edwards off and running. Welcome back, Donovan Edwards, 46 yards. You talk about a reemergence for a guy who's been really quiet
no
about
doubt.
half a season, Kirk.
No doubt about it. What we say the key to the game, how will Washington physically match up to this Michigan run game, and can they identify a lot of pre-snap movement?
Edwards, 2 carries, 2 touchdowns and 87 yards.
So this is the wrinkle they've been throwing in here. They've gone to this jumbo package. Hinton, the backup tackle, comes in at right tackle. Here's the starting right tackle, right? Now watch what happens. And look at Washington. They go jumbo. You got 6 offensive linemen in. Look at everybody trying to get on the same page. Look at the communication. You got, no, you got to get that gap over there. Then they go to the pistol, and by the time they let it go, once again, Edwards finds a gap that's not accounted for using his vision and then the acceleration. Good job, good wrinkle again from Jim Harbaugh and Jerome Moore. And there's that overlooked shot, and Colston Loveland with a nice block there on Dominique Hampton to free him up.
So often you talk about shifting, you're talking about backs and tight ends and receivers. They're shifting the big fellas around.
Yeah, second time that they brought in that unbalanced, that big offensive line. And these little wrinkles, these little change-ups giving Washington issues. J.J. McCarthy, man.
Big issues. This is the biggest deficit for the Huskies. They've come from behind a lot. They played a lot of close games, but quickly down 11. And some serious conversations going to have to take place on that defensive sideline with Chuck Morrell and Willie Minge, the co-defensive coordinators. Molly.
Chris, it's more than just adrenaline and medicine motivating Dylan Johnson as he runs out onto the field. He's playing for his coach and mentor, Lee Marks, who found out just yesterday that his father, Lee Marks Sr., passed away. He told the team during their final walkthrough there were a lot of tears and hugs. Marks said the players lifted him up, vowed to play in his father's honor. You can see that in Johnson's resolve, and he's been emotional on the sideline with his coach tonight.
He's back in there. So many guys driven by some powerful emotions tonight. It's been a big theme as we talk to player after player. The why. What is it that drives them, inspires them? Play clock at 1 when Penix gets it. Steps up, escapes. Just tripped up. He's an effective runner. It's not a big part of it, but he can scramble, get you 5 there.
Yeah, and when he takes off, though, you just want to make sure he gets down. You know, that he's had so many injuries throughout his career. He shows he's an athlete. Nice job of getting down. A little bit of an awkward slide with that left leg getting underneath.
Because you said they're going to have to spread around the workload because Johnson with that foot cannot really be a 20-25 carry guy. Takes the pitch on the edge. Not much there. It's going to set out third and medium. Mason Graham, defensive MVP of the Rose Bowl, calling his name again tonight.
You're going to call his name a lot tonight, and it's a good job of keeping the edge to the defense to allow Mason Graham to make that play. Michigan and Jesse Minter doing their homework. Washington loves to get the ball out on the edge, pulling those offensive linemen. Because they got out there early, it forced it back inside for Mason Graham to clean it up.
Urgency here now on 3rd and 5. Yeah, it's early, but the defense is reeling. And already down 11. Need to keep this drive going. Throw. McMillan makes the catch. Fighting to escape. Cannot. Mikey Sainra still, the nickelback. Wouldn't let him go.
Remember we talked about Jesse Minter emphasizing tackling in space. Sandustra, who's been great his whole career in tackling, he had 4 missed tackles last week. I don't know if he's slept for a week. He's been so frustrated. This time, he makes the play on 3rd down. Outstanding effort by number 0 there in the slot against a very talented receiver.
The AT&T connected cam. So many subplots. You're right. He doesn't miss tackles, and he had a tough time throughout the game. And that's not a very good punt, but it's an effective roll. As McAllister kind of had a line drive, it'll be down at the 21-yard line. But Michigan, after 84 and 86-yard touchdown drives, both from Donovan Edwards, back to work here. And what can the Huskies do on defense?
William Inge and Chuck Morrell, the co-defensive coordinators, got to put their defense together, and I'm sure they did while their own offense was out there, and say, guys, you know, we've got to be able to account for these wrinkles and these adjustments, maybe simplify things, get everybody on the same page, because these big runs, we've had guys out of gaps.
You get Corum with his effectiveness. You get Donovan Edwards going. Mullings has been in there. Wolverines loaded with weapons in the run game. They go after their 1,000-yard rusher, and now it's Corum who's loose. Blake Corum down the sidelines. They've got an angle. He cuts it back and finally is brought down to the 20. Thaddeus Dixon saved the touchdown, but 59 more yards.
What a job by Drake Nugent getting up to the linebacker right here. Watch the block by 53. Trente Jones comes down, helps out, and then gets up to that linebacker. Heck of a block by Cornelius Johnson. That's just execution. That's just an offensive line getting a hat on a hat, a running back that's very comfortable and getting downhill. This offense is averaging 19 yards a carry here in the first quarter.
In the quarter, the maize and blue have the Huskies defense in a daze. Tomorrow, Marvel Studios is dropping its newest series, Echo. Catch the 5-episode event on Disney Plus and Hulu. Here's an exclusive look. Set for the second quarter in Houston. Trophy is in the building. Overwhelming first quarter by Michigan. College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Wolverines down here in the red zone, threatening to add to this 14-3 lead.
Look at that number right there, Chris. 153 to 174. These are before contact. Tells you the job they're doing with the scheme and the blocking and execution up front.
It's Corum behind McCarthy. He's got it. And Corum spins and picks up about 3. I love when offensive line coaches use that expression, hat on a hat. We just got to get a hat on a hat. It means dudes are just winning their blocks, and they're doing it all over the place tonight for Michigan.
No, there's that last big run by Blake Corum. That really is what it is. And again, I want to go back to how they're doing a good job of mixing up the personnel groupings. They created confusion for Alabama a week ago. Creating confusion tonight for Washington. More about the gap responsibility this front as much as anything tonight.
Now Mullings, who goes almost 240 pounds, takes his turn in the backfield. And he's off the left side. Hammers forward. Washington had not given up a run longer than 45 all year. Michigan has had runs of 46 and 59. So the 2 longest plays they've allowed on the ground all year have come here in the first quarter.
Yeah, they've given up a bunch of plays through the air. They're 120th in that regard as far as yards through the air. Plays 20 yards or more, but they've been pretty sound against the run. But as Michigan told us coming into this game, I don't know if they've seen this kind of offensive line, this kind of scheme, and this kind of quarterback all in one team.
First third down snap for the Wolverines. This is an area that Washington has improved in the last couple of games. Not a particular strength. McCarthy didn't like the look. Takes a timeout. Wolverines knocking on the door yet again.
Heating up a snack for the game? Just tell Siri. Set a timer for 7 minutes.
Washington's had a heck of a time just containing the Wolverines on first and second down. Finally a chance to get a third down stop here. Wolverines need 4. Harbaugh may go for it if he doesn't get it anyway.
The way this game's going.
Yeah. Play caller Sharon Moore there. Corum is the back. McCarthy throws it into traffic. It was batted down, intended for Cornelius Johnson, and Jabbar Muhammad, their top corner, was right there. Here comes the field goal team.
He follows him in motion. Watch to the outside. He'll follow him down. They try to create a little doubt on who's going to be with who, but how about the job of getting his head turned, anticipating that football being thrown right into sticks. Every time we've called a Washington game, number 1 gets challenged, and he steps up and makes plays.
Sure does. Harbaugh electing to send out James Turner, grad transfer from Louisville, who has not missed inside of 40 this season, and slides his field goal inside the left upright from 32. Wolverines 65-yard drive to build a 14-point lead.
We saw Washington have a close one with appeared to be a chip shot here. Michigan able to go up by a couple of scores. They have really dominated this game. Kalen DeBoer has to be happy that his defense was able to maybe relieved, not happy, that they were able to keep Michigan out of the end zone there and put it at 17-3.
That constitutes a victory at this point. Now, What can they do to get Penix going? Michigan has not knocked him to the ground yet, but they've kind of pressured him enough to make it a little bit uncomfortable and throw some of the timing off on these routes.
Yeah, they have. And I think it's been, to me, more about the coverage that they've come up with. Last week against Bama, it was the disguise and the pressure coming late that confused the offensive line. I think right now they're doing a really good job of taking away the deep crossers and the throws that Penix normally hits. Now, it's early in this game. You know, don't forget Washington, as quick as Michigan has scored on the ground, you could see Washington with these receivers score pretty quickly too, and I'm sure that's why they have confidence still that they're not going to abandon their approach to this game.
Daniel Ngana will leave this one in there. Penix 5 completions for just 43 yards.
When he has been pressured, you can see he's not doing well. That's more about coverage, and eventually the pressure gets to him. No pressure, which again was very predictable. If he has his feet set, he's going to throw darts all over the field. But Michigan mixing up the looks, creating some doubt and some confusion for the receivers and for Penix.
Jesse Minter calls Penix an elite processor. Promised to be more diverse, more disguised with their defenses than Texas was in the Sugar Bowl against him. Fake it to Johnson, long pitch. Shadunze makes the catch and backs for a first down in front of St. Ristel.
Doesn't surprise me that that would be an answer. You know, relying with more of the underneath throw to try to get this defense to come down. Right now they're playing either deep with both the safeties or playing cover 3, which is soft coverage, allowing some of those underneath throws. Their big thing for Michigan is they don't want to give the explosive up. Make Penix and those receivers and this offensive line have to execute down the field. So they got a lot of depth on the back end with those safeties.
Washington with 89 plays at 20+, third most in the country. Penix sets up and fires a dart, and that's Jalen Polk. He found some space in that zone. Another first down to midfield.
The Michigan defense adjusts with the motion. You see the safety work to the middle with the motion coming across. Again, they're getting back. So what are you going to do? You're going to throw underneath them. Good job with the protection. Penix maybe getting into a little bit of a flow here.
They feed Johnson. He's going to have to really earn his yards tonight. Picked up just 1 there.
Oh, it is such a fun thing to watch Washington when they're rolling. It's more of a balanced approach than you would think because of Penix and the receivers getting a lot of attention. But tonight, that line of scrimmage, especially the interior, Ryan Grubb is a play caller, Mason Graham, Chris Jenkins, Kenneth Grant. It's going to be a handful for the interior of that offensive line to establish any kind of run game at all, especially with Dylan Johnson hobbling out there.
Johnson still in the game to the right. And the pre-snap whistle.
Yeah, I think the center started to lose his balance there.
First penalty tonight.
Snap infraction. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Good spot that was Parker Brailsford for the center.
Yeah, just here again, we see a little bit of momentum. Get a couple passes. They're starting to move the ball across midfield, and you see he just lost his balance, started to flinch just a little bit. Good job by the umpire catching that.
Brailsford, one of the guys who had to step in, fill in for the injured starting center, Mateo Mele, early in the season. 2nd and 14. Penix pressured and lofts it into traffic. Jalen Polk was well covered. Wallace was there, and the safety Saab came across.
Well, they do a nice job of showing pressure. They walk it up, and then they get out of it, and Jenkins just wins. Talked about the advantage they could have in the interior, and that time he just used a spin move to get off Bulow.
The Michigan faithful in a celebratory mood already, up and roaring on this 3rd and 14. Two-by-two look, and they flinched again up front for Washington.
Yep.
As you said, a couple quick completions on this drive. Penix has some momentum, and those 5-yard penalties have stalled it.
77. 5-yard penalty, third down.
It's Julius Buelow, the guard. How do you like 3rd and 19 against this Wolverine defense?
Yeah, not good. Right guard eventually sitting in that stance for so long, flinches. Here comes a screen or a draw of some kind, just something simple and easy.
Empty backfield, 5 receivers out. Right down the middle, and the catch is made. It was a safe throw. He found McMillan into Michigan territory, but he's about 8 yards short of the first down.
Keep in mind, as good as this offense is of Washington's, and they're still out on the field, the offense. Kalen DeBoer sensing maybe that we don't want to give the ball back to J.J. McCarthy right now. Ryan Grubb, it's an aggressive offense, an aggressive approach, and at the plus 47, they're going for it.
In a tie game against Texas, 14 apiece, he went for it on 4th and 1 at his own 33. This time they need 7.
Look at the look right now. He's got a one-on-one matchup up top against Dylan. Really, Will Johnson against Odunze. Now they bring McMillan over.
Has time. Launches downfield, wide open, and he overshot Odunze. The play they needed to turn this around, just overthrown.
But we talk about how Michigan's offense is confusing the Washington defense. This time you flip it over by McMillan going out there. They motion him out here. You got 2 receivers, and watch the coverage run late. The safety goes to the middle of the field. Will Johnson stays up tight. Nobody is on Odunze back in the deep part of the zone. He's alone. Best receiver maybe in the country, and they can't connect for a touchdown. Missed opportunity.
The CFP National Championship, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Verbo, private vacation rentals, football away, Capital One, what's in your wallet, and Gatorade. Gatorade is helping millions play. Gatorade, fuel tomorrow.
Huge moment, Kirk. You take a gamble there on 4th down. You confuse the defense. You've got one of the best receivers in college football, if not the best. One of the most accurate passers, and they can't connect.
Yeah, I think Rod Moore running to the middle is the mistake and the bust, and it gives him opportunity. And I think Penix is expecting Odunze to work more towards the outside of the numbers. That's why he has to make that heroic effort to try to come up with that catch. He'll talk about it, try to get on the same page. But, boy, that is a big-time missed opportunity for Washington.
Penix's first incompletion when he hasn't been pressured. So Michigan set up with great field position at the 47 to build on this lead. It's Corum, and that time the middle was clogged. Reaching up and getting an arm on him to make the tackle was Drew Fowler.
Drew Fowler.
My brother's name.
Yeah.
Drew makes a tackle every time we do a game. That was an important one.
Every time. Drew's probably watching. He's fired up. He just made a play.
Definitely watching.
But you know what he did? Drew Fowler that time got downhill in a hurry. Any polling lineman didn't have much of a chance. Good quick reaction by 54.
Look who's in the game, Kirk. Donovan Edwards, who's electric runs in his first 2 carries. Fake it to him on 2nd and 10. Deep drop. JJ scanning, fires along the sidelines, and incomplete. Colston Loveland, the tight end, was covered by Hampton. 3rd and 10 now.
Boy, is he good at buying time and getting out to the right. I thought it was a catch, but it's the effort by Hampton there to knock that ball loose. I thought it was same old with J.J. McCarthy. Pretty good coverage. He buys time, waits to the last second, makes a great throw, but Hampton doesn't give up on that play and gets it out of the hands there.
It's a tough assignment. He's a long and strong safety. Plays every snap, basically, in the game. They bring some pressure. Ball is out and incomplete. The time they came after McCarthy, it was way over the head of Cornelius Johnson, and with good field position, the Wolverines go 3 and out for the first time.
Yeah, they bring the linebackers, but it's the first time, like you said, Chris, they've been able to get him behind the sticks. But this backer comes here. This backer just kind of looking at Donovan Edwards just to make sure that he's not up to anything. And they got to get the ball out in a hurry. So Washington, big goal of theirs is trying to get McCarthy behind the sticks. They get him to 3rd and 10, and they force the punt.
First appearance by Tommy Doman. Giles Jackson back to receive a high booming punt that's going to land well into the end zone. So a 53-yard punt. And Penix will try to shake off that 4th down mistake last time. Huskies trying to climb back in this, still down 14. All-State Bus, piloted by Curtis Wilson, of course, here in Houston, capping another great season. What do you got for the All-State good hands plays so far?
Yeah, let's go back to the Texas game and look at Penix. I mean, this is such an accurate throw, and it's downfield, 35 yards, off platform, an area he really has worked hard to, instead of just falling back and losing ground, he's worked on resetting his feet and being able to throw the ball with accuracy. And see tonight, or against Texas anyway, I mean, he was in that zone and trying to get him back into that zone, coming off that last series where he missed a Dunze for a touchdown.
Yeah, Kirk 0 for 2 so far in the deep shots tonight. They knew they were going to need some of those. Backs up on 1st down, is pressured and slung down at the 5. The pass rush gets home. That's big Kenneth Grant.
My biggest concern for Washington was how the guards would match up with the interior of Grant and Mason Graham. He just gets overpowered. He's off balance. He's a big guy as a guard. It's 6'6", 327, but he's heavy-footed. And I'll tell you what, man, Grant is 340 and moves like he's 280. What an athletic move by the big man, using power and quickness and force to get off that block.
Michigan's defensive front becoming one of the stories of this CFP. Way behind the sticks on 2nd and 22. Penix at his goal line, flings it across the middle. It's low. McMillan went down for it, couldn't get it. Incomplete.
What's the difference in last week's game and this week's game? Is they're getting pressure. I'm talking about the Alabama-Michigan game. They're getting pressure with 4. It allows them to play zone. It allows them to focus on the receivers. Good effort just to get a little something on this football by Penix. But that time we saw Mason Graham get in there and just beat a one-on-one block. These guys are getting pressure with just rushing 4, playing zone behind it.
Maize and blue fans just roaring down in that right end zone. Penix steps up, checks it down underneath. Dylan Johnson, a long way to go. Takes about 3 big shots and is knocked down by Rod Moore short of the marker. And here comes the punt team.
I always look at a team and the way a team pursues to the football. You want to talk about a well-coached defense? Watch this. You know, they're just going to check it down. They're playing zone. Their eyes are on the football. There's Dylan Johnson. There's not one guy. There's not 2 guys. Look at even the backside. Good 99. He's getting involved. You got 5 or 6 guys running to the football for Michigan's defense.
Johnson took 3 separate shots at the end of that run. McAllister to boot it away. Morgan, another low line drive kick. Kind of taking the returner out of it. Whether that's by design, I'm not sure. Rolls out at the 33. Look who's arrived on the sideline here. And watch Jim Harbaugh. Not quite sure who's this guy. Hi! That's his older brother, John.
Oh, hey, security. Who we got?
Jim telling some great stories to us yesterday about the years when they lived in a tiny house when their dad, Jack, was an assistant coach at Iowa. And they were sharing a bedroom in this little house. And, you know, Jack, the father, always asks the question of his sons, hey, boys, there's Jack right there, who's got it better than us?
Yeah.
And they would always say, nobody, Dad.
Yeah. Hey, we get to go shovel some snow today. Who's got it better than us?
Hey, we don't have the car. We're going to have to walk and dribble basketballs as we go to school. I mean, the stories were funny.
Yeah.
Handoff, and once again plowing forward. His call didn't look like much, and he rumbles for 8.
Hey, let's pull back for a second and think about it. Here it's 7:30 in the second quarter. J.J. McCarthy is going to check out of the game. They'll probably go with a little wrinkle here with Alex Orji. 7:30 to go in this game. Washington gets the ball to start the second half. This is a big drive for both these teams. Look at those rushing yards for Michigan.
Orji, the sophomore out of Saxe, Texas. That's S-A-C-H-S-E if you're wondering. Big 240-pound guy, a change-of-pace quarterback who's had a role in their recent games. And fakes the handoff. Big fella gets a great block on the edge. Nice job clearing out Loveland. And that wrinkle works nicely for 13 more.
Yeah, well, Michigan pulls the left guard, left tackle. Henderson is pulling. By pulling he's reading this defensive end. And watch how quickly he collapses down. That's an easy read. Now he's able to pull it and show what kind of athletic ability he has.
Got in there briefly against Ohio State.
Yeah, see a jersey
hold there.
Pull with Drake Nugent. I think that's second time that Michigan's gotten away with a hold there.
Michigan has not been penalized tonight. They're one of the best teams in the country at avoiding penalties. 2-back look here. Fake it to Edwards, and Orji just keeps it. Hammers forward for about 3. Ulofoshio got him down.
When he decides to keep it, he's got bad intentions, doesn't he? Big, powerful runner. Michigan constantly rotating bodies in and out of the game. Different personnel groups, different looks. Just even that little wrinkle with Orji coming in gives this defense something else to look at. They break the huddle quickly with another different formation.
They feed Corum again, and he's dropped to the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Jabbar Muhammad, who's holding his arm in obvious pain. It did not look good.
Now, as soon as he made that tackle, you can see that reaction. Really was going to brag on him for his willingness to come up. Undersized corner, but he knows he's got to do this. He's got to help set that edge, and then right away after he makes that tackle, you can see he's feeling it. Best cover guy by far for this Washington defense.
Oklahoma State transfer. Ripping the right arm. Step aside. Wolverines face a 3rd and 7 when you come back. Jimmy Pitaro, the chairman of ESPN, on the field as part of the check presentation, the College Football Playoff Foundation and ESPN. For 10 years have supported teachers with the launch of the postseason initiative called Touchdowns for Teachers. $1,000 donation to local schools for every touchdown scored during a bowl game. So Michigan here facing a 3rd and 8.
You know, Washington walking 7 up, showing pressure. See if they all come, or they're going to drop them out. It's 1st and 4.
McCarthy's lost a little bit of rhythm. 0 for his last 4 pass attempts after a 3-for-3 start. They'll try to give it to Edwards on the ground. Plows forward. He's about 3 yards short. Lemuel Ale made the tackle, so offense out there for the moment.
How hard is Donovan Edwards running tonight? These linemen are pointing, let's go for it, coach, let's go for it. And anytime you call play like that on 3rd down in plus territory, typically it means you're going to go for it. But they bring the punter out.
It is 3 yards, and if Washington would get a stop, Penix will be set up in good field position. Inside of 5 minutes in the first half, Huskies would get the football, and they'll call a timeout here on the far side, would get the football to start the 3rd quarter. So the board thinking, let's get something here, get the ball back, and cut into this lead.
Let's see what Jim Harbaugh does with this timeout, with he and his staff to talk this over. The way their defense is held up to this point with defending Michael Penix, this is an opportunity. I mean, with 4:46 to go, you're looking at a 4th and 3 with an athletic quarterback that can run, can throw. There's a lot of options there if they do decide to go for it, or you're comfortable with this leading. You try to use your punter to pin them inside the 10-yard line and make them go the long way if they're going to go get points.
Really, really successful batting average on 4th down, 17 of 21. Would you go for it here? Tough call, huh?
It is a tough call just because I love the aggressive mindset. I mean, it's an opportunity, and they are going to bring the offensive line and McCarthy back out, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you can see why they would do it.
Well, if they can convert this and roll downhill and build this to a 3-touchdown margin before halftime,
yeah,
could be.
They had to tell the lineman, Ladarius Henderson, coming off, and left guard Trevor Keegan, fellas, punt teams, we're going for it. Let's go, boys.
So here we go. Can Michigan keep leaning on this Husky defense and pick up the 3 yards? Jabbar Muhammad, the corner, is back on the field for the Husky defense. McCarthy looking to throw for it to the right, incomplete. That was good coverage on that sideline by Ulofoshio. He broke up the pass, and Washington takes over in good field position. Needed that.
He's showing blitz. He's right here, Chris, and then he's able to get out there, down to the flat. And I don't even know if he turned his head and saw the football. He just gets he shows blitz. He gets out in the flat, puts his arm out. No, he never turned his head. He just put the arm out and expecting that ball was coming because of the eyes of Roman Wilson. What a play.
Inside backer on their best receiver. He has one of those great coverage grades for linebackers, and you see why.
Yeah, the AT&T connected cam showing you a great look at it. What a play. Washington ball back to Penix here.
And to Johnson. He continues to run hard. It looks like he's limited. You're telling me you thought maybe in the break he's about 70%.
That's what he looks like to me, especially when he runs left and tries to make a cut. Again, God bless him for being out there and just trying to gut this out like he has most of the year. What an opportunity for Penix and Washington to see what they can do with this ball with about 4:15 here to go in this half and getting the ball to start the second half.
Plenty of time, out quickly, underneath. That's the first catch by Jack Westover, the really athletic tight end. It's a first down.
And the ball, much better tempo. The ball is out fast. Sometimes, even though you don't need to go hurry up here, sometimes when you're struggling as an offense, going fast can get the defense on its heels.
They do run with tempo. Johnson on the left end lowers his head. Big collision, paid the price for a yard gain as Michael Barrett hit the wood.
Yeah. The timing of their outside runs with him not at 100% is just off. It's just not quite the same. And against this defense, as fast as they're flowing, if you're off by just a half a step, you're losing yardage. That could have been a gain of 5 or 6 instead of just a couple.
Will Nixon is now the back. Penix took a look to the right, flips it up underneath, and a little screen in heavy traffic. That's Odunze who fights for a first down. They line him up a lot of different places to make him tough to guard.
Yeah, they really do. And Odunze wanted to get underneath the line. The liners, they're late in getting out in front of him. He would have had a convoy and even more yards to pick up, but they do get the first.
Third catch in the first half for Odunze. We are playing with some tempo. Not because there's little time, but I think it's working against the defense. Westover again. Leaked out, wide open, and he picks up first down yardage to the 23.
Again, they're getting deep. The defense getting deep, so let's throw the ball underneath. It's a little slip screen. Let that defense get downfield. Just turn around. One of the more underrated players on this offense is Jack Westover. Does a lot of things and being able to block, but here he shows he can catch the ball and be a threat in that capacity as well.
On the play fake. Incomplete. Westover is a guy that only played a couple of games of high school football. He's a walk-on at first here. He's been battling a calf injury, but back to 100% tonight. Gives yet another weapon to mix in with those 3 talented wideouts.
No doubt about it. Michigan, you feel that, how they changed that last 1st and 10. That was the Michigan defensive style from last week. Loading up the line of scrimmage, blitzing, more aggressive, and as they get deeper and deeper into Michigan territory, you're going to see a little bit more of that when they dial up pressure.
Odunze one-on-one to the right, guarded by Josh Wallace up there.
And usually when he sees that, that's where he's going.
Penix took a look that way, and there was all kinds of traffic. Odunze looking around for a flag. Wallace was physical, and there isn't a penalty.
I don't know if, I thought he just lost his balance. I mean, it's easy to look out there. He's on the ground and call an interference, but I think he just loses his footing. Now, he does push him a little bit at the end, but I think it was more about him off the line of scrimmage. Odunze just losing his footing there.
I think he was so excited to have single coverage.
Oh, yeah.
Guy they figured to pick on tonight in Wallace.
Yeah, that was who they wanted. That was the matchup.
3rd and 10. This time Odunze's off to the left. Penix launching for McMillan, who is grabbed. Penalty flag on San Misto. Saved what might have been a touchdown. He had a step or two.
Pass interference. Defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Michigan's first penalty tonight. And set up Washington in scoring position here in the red zone.
For me, this is a must-see matchup. McMillan against San Misto. Harry grabs the jersey, pretty easy call. And you know, Penix is locked in there, but I'll tell you, his number 1 receiver, Odunze, against man-to-man coverage, he had him wide open. Now he's watching, he's looking downfield, but look, nobody takes Odunze. Will Johnson comes over late. If he gets him the ball, he walks to the end zone.
I think he scores if it's not grabbed there. So instead it's 1st and goal at the 8. Johnson back in the game. He's got it, trying to make a cut to his right. You're right, it just looks much more methodical, less explosive than normal. Still picks up 3.
And now at this point, with the respect you have for J.J. McCarthy and what they can do on the other side, Michigan down to 1 timeout, I'm thinking big picture. If I'm Washington, I'm thinking about, hey, we want to score here. Let's slow it down a little bit here. Let's take our time. We're confident that Michael Penix is going to get us into the end zone. We don't want J.J. to have much time to work with to get more points on the board.
Johnson's got it, and he is knocked down right at the line of scrimmage. Big play by Makari Page, the safety. Harbaugh does run out on the field to call a timeout.
Chris, I'm with you. Makari Page, you know, they rotate safeties. They play 4 of them. What a play right here by 7. Has to take on a block. Gets off the block. That's a lineman. Gets underneath that block and uses his athletic ability to make a big tackle there on Dylan Johnson. Get underneath the big lineman pulling and then get into the face of that running back, Dylan Johnson. Big time play there.
Yeah, that is just throwing your body and a big man and getting out of the way.
He's 6'4", 208 himself. I mean, he got great length. That time shows he's got some physicality to his game.
So Ryan Grubb, Kalen DeBoer, a couple of runs from 1st and goal at the 8, pick up 3. Now it's 3rd down. I wonder if they're thinking 2 plays to get the 5 yards to go for it here.
I think you have to, right? It's 17-3.
Enormous moment in this championship game.
Odunze up at the top against Will Johnson, one-on-one.
Comes in motion, Penix rolling out, looks like a designed run. They don't do that very often. Chris Jenkins gets him down after a 2-yard gain, 4th and goal from the 3.
And they did that because of what you just said. They don't do that very often. Johnson gets involved, number 2. But watch Jenkins, 94, get down the line of scrimmage. How quickly he moves to make that tackle. 300-pounder getting down the line like that.
Well, we've seen this in the postseason. Michigan's defense on the field getting a huge 4th down stop to win the Rose Bowl. Final minute of the first half. They can preserve this 2-touchdown lead if they can get a stop here. 3 runs. Penix has time, launches, touchdown! Jalen McMillan, there is a flag down. It's near the goal line. And they're pointing to Michigan's direction.
Yeah, I think it's on Will Johnson against Odunze. Got up around his shoulder and grabbed him. I think this touchdown counts for Washington.
Odie, defense, number 2. That penalty's decline. He's over the plays the touchdown.
So what a turnaround here. Ulofosio makes the big breakup on that 4th down pass attempt. They take over, takes them 11 plays to go 61 yards. First touchdown They get the ball back after halftime. This is turned around. The defense provided the spark, and then Penix, methodical by their standards drive to get to the end zone.
Yeah, let's go back to this touchdown, and McMillan's right here in motion, and you're going to see him get open right off the line of scrimmage. Now, Odunze will be right here. This is where the penalty is. You'll see McMillan come into play on your left. You'll see Johnson with the obvious penalty right there. He just grabs a hold of him. But look at McMillan open up right away with a great route. The blitzing linebacker really opened it up. And Penix went from his right and then came all the way back to his left, and that's why the ball was late. But now you look at the run on third down and you think, you know what, now that they scored, think about how much time they were able to work there, getting all the way down to 42 seconds. And we keep saying it, Kalen DeBoer gets the ball to start the second half. So that could not have worked out any better than to work 4 minutes off the clock on that 11-play drive.
Of course, we've got a whole lot more plot twists and turns to come, but that decision by Harbaugh, remember, he was going to punt, called a timeout, put the offense back out there, and they had a nice little play dialed up, but Ulafoshu came across, batted it away. Fair catch with 42 seconds. The Mercedes-Benz halftime report coming up. Reese Davis, Oregon head coach Dan Lanning, who battled the Huskies twice, and Joseph Scott Galloway from inside the building here. Forward to hearing their reaction.
No doubt. What a interesting first half. I mean, it was complete domination in that first quarter for Michigan, up 14-3. And it was what Washington just kind of holding on. They finally put a drive together. They put points on the board. They worked the clock. Michigan 0 timeouts and 42 seconds remaining.
But big play, Donovan Edwards is in the backfield. He goes out in the pattern. McCarthy across the middle. Colson Loveland, big tight end, rumbles to the 45 as he gets involved for the first time tonight for 19.
Yeah, really good route there. A little whirl route against a linebacker. He's expecting him on the right to work outside. He went back to the inside. Wide open. Easy read for McCarthy.
JJ throwing again along the sidelines. Cornelius Johnson's wrestled down inbounds. The clock will continue to run. They can't stop it. What? Elijah Jackson on the tackle.
That's a huge tackle by Jackson, obviously, to keep him in bounds. By the way, Jabbar Muhammad back in at the bottom of your screen. Went out, looked like with a stinger. He's back on the field.
You work that sideline route, hoping that Johnson can step out. That was a tough decision there.
I'm with you. I thought, wow, they're giving him the boundary. He'd just step out of bounds. The ball was a little bit back inside, but I really thought he would just continue to work his momentum out of bounds. But a good play by 25. Jackson, who made the play, of course, at the end of the game last week against Texas.
UTMT connected, Ken, giving you a look at that play. Now just 16 seconds. They need 3 on third. McCarthy backs up, another sideline route. That was way off target. It was looking for Johnson again, but it's fourth down.
Yeah, there's rushing 4, playing a Tampa 2 defense with 2 deep safeties. The middle linebacker running down the middle of the field with Roman Wilson.
The offense is out there for now. Harbaugh's going to go for this unless he's just trying to draw him offside. Washington does have a timeout here.
He turned around.
I mean, you got to stop.
I think they're just going to let the play clock run down and then bring the punter out.
I thought, wait a second.
Let's not get crazy now.
I'm all for being aggressive and bold. It did cost him the last time, but you got to just punt this away.
Look at the energy in this stadium right now. Washington's defense coming off the field, kind of pumping up the crowd. First time the entire game where you can feel some energy coming from the Washington side.
They've been able to get the Wolverines to third down. Michigan's 0 for 4 so far, and I think McCarthy off a little bit in the first half. Kirk, I don't know how you see it. 5 of 11. He got off to a hot start.
He did.
He's lost some rhythm. It's been all about the powerful running game. They may need McCarthy in the second half, though, the way this is turning.
In the first quarter, they averaged 19 yards a carry. In the second quarter, with more run blitzes, secondary filling in better, making better tackles, only 4 yards a carry.
Doman short punt will just bounce and roll out of bounds, or not out of bounds, down beautifully at the 1 with 3 seconds to go. So as bad as it was for Washington, their defense taking body shots and getting muscled and pushed around by Michigan. Penix able to sort of get into the end zone and then slow developing drive.
I don't know about you, but it's setting up for a really good second half because of the turn of events. Jim Harbaugh electing to go for it. Great play by the linebacker, Eddie, and then we see what can happen with Penix putting points up on the board on that 4th down, and then Washington, again, to get the ball to start the second half.
Washington does not flinch when they face a deficit. They've been in tight games all year long in the Pac-12. They don't know the easy way. Michigan made it hard early, 17-10. We'll see Penix right back on the field when the third quarter begins. We go to Holly now with Jim Harbaugh.
Coach Harbaugh, an aggressive decision to go for it on 4th down. What went into it?
That's right. You know, it's playing the percentages. They played great defense. We didn't quite get it done, and put our defense in a bad spot there. But we got to get the momentum back now.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Molly?
Coach, how do you continue this momentum when you get the ball to start the second half?
Yeah, it's just doing what we've done all year. You know, we took some of their best punches early, and now we've kind of settled in. Defense has kind of got it, I think, things figured out. Great drive by our offense right there. We get the ball to start the third quarter, so in a great spot.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
Chris.
Very optimistic, positive guy by nature, and you know he'll be telling his guys we got him right where we want him.
Oh, yeah.
Still got to solve that Michigan ground game. That's been the big problem, the big story in the first half. Mercedes-Benz halftime report after these messages. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T.
UFC 297 is exclusively on ESPN Plus, and don't miss this special offer. Go to ESPNplus.com/PPV and get $10 off your pay-per-view purchase. Buy now and save $10 on UFC 297. Offer ends January 15th.
Rumors spreading round in that Texas town.
Tonight in Houston, the mission finish. Donovan Edwards racing to the end zone.
No doubt about it.
Touchdown! What a turn. Set for the second half, the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Final championship game in this 4-team playoff era. Michigan throwing haymakers off the stool there. A couple of big shots for the running game to build a 17-3 lead. Washington gets a 4th down stop, and they get football now down just 7 to start the third quarter. Penix took a while to get going. When they've kept him pressure-free, he's been hard to stop.
Yeah, he has, and I think the adjustment by Ryan Grubb as the play caller at the end of that first half was smart. A little bit more tempo, getting the ball out a little bit faster, quick throws, a little slip screen, got it down into plus territory deep, and then they were able to punch it in on that 4th down throw to McMillan and got him back into this game. So the adjustments at halftime will be intense. How does Washington hold up against not just Edwards, but Blake Corum in that running game? And if I'm Michigan, go back to the first quarter where they were throwing different wrinkles, unbalanced, that heavy set, created a lot of problems for the Washington defense.
McCarthy, you saw him there. Very effective throwing on 1st and 2nd down. Didn't have a completion on 3rd or the 4th down play. Let's check tonight's Capital One rewarding performance.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. This is a great play here. Just at the end of the first half, Washington's defense steps up. They get the ball back to Penix. That was a 4th down call by Harbaugh, and you understand why they decided to go for it, a chance to really pull away. Watch his play for the touchdown. He sees the hold on Will Johnson. He actually points it out, and then he's got a free play. What the heck? Let's take a touchdown. What composure there by Michael Penix to get their only touchdown of the night.
He's pointing out penalties. He's throwing touchdowns. I love that. Tybo Rogers is the back. Johnson not in there. Pump fake that direction, and now just has to lob it up, and it's intercepted. Picked off. Rogers tried to break it up. Will Johnson scooped it off the turf. The first turnover of the night. Penix slow to get up and hobbling off. He was hit by Mason Graham.
Yeah, Mason Graham does a heck of a job of just the force, the push into Michael Penix. Again, they're not blitzing. This is 4 guys. Look at Mason Graham push him right back into the quarterback. Ball goes up into the air. He tries to throw it away. They'll probably take a peek at this to make sure after the bobble. Good job of finding it and then controlling it. He gets that left hand underneath the ball so it couldn't hit the surface. Connected Cam AT&T view of it right now. He is definitely in. That's an interception on the first play to start the second half.
That's great because Tybo Rogers was doing a heck of a job of playing DB. Took a huge swat of the ball. Johnson with the hand strength and the concentration to regroup and get that left arm there underneath the ball.
To get under the ball.
What a turn of events, Kurt. Washington has momentum to begin the half. Penix is suddenly limped off after the first turnover tonight, and Michigan set up at the 32. Corum penned in. Huskies did a much better job in the second quarter stopping the rush. Michigan just 35 yards rushing after that explosive first period. And here's what the focus is on the Washington sidelines.
Again, Mason Graham just pushing Brailsford right back into him. He steps on his foot there.
Yeah, Brailsford getting that cleat up on the right ankle. Crowd groaning as that was shown on the replay board.
Not to mention Mason Graham's momentum being pushed back on top of Brailsford as well.
Corum bursts through a hole and is finally brought down at the 16 by Elijah Jackson. Momentum turning on a dime here.
Well, they bring a blitz with the linebacker right here, and by bringing that blitz, watch the block by the right tackle on this play. Turns his body and turns the defender with him. That's Barnhart. Really nice job of opening that up and assisted by that Washington blitz.
Looking at the right ankle of Michael Penix Jr. has come through so much in his career. Corum has hit the 100-yard mark on his 10 carries. Edwards, with just 3 carries, is closing in on 100 yards.
All start. Offense. Everyone but the center. 5-yard penalty. First down.
I mean, you gotta call a guy out like that? I mean, he just everybody
73, 77, 52, 50.
It's on 60, everybody. They move him back 5 yards. The whole offense moves. And Drake Nugent, the transfer, has done a really good job this year playing through pain. To transfer out of Stanford, just not snapping it, so they get behind the sticks.
See if that changes the complexion of the play calling here. Michigan looked intense and just trying to muscle the ball in. They still hand it to Corum on 1st and 15, but Ufolocio stops him.
Ufolocio is doing a really good job of saw him in coverage. This time, I think he's, instead of waiting and letting these linemen get up to him, you see how he worked around the center that time, Nugent?
Penix putting that defense in a difficult position. Edwards in the backfield, and the Washington guys pointing in a flinch on the Michigan side, and they're right.
Yep.
Wow. Sudden change offense. They go out there, get a nice gain by Corum, get down in the red zone, and back-to-back 5-yard penalties.
Offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, second
Hey,
down.
Chris, the Washington defensive line causes Henderson to move. They jump and move, and you can just see him a little uncomfortable with that sudden movement in the inside. That's what started that flinch, and they push him back 5 more.
Now it's 2nd and 18. McCarthy batted down at the line. Latulina Senawa got a hand up. Big senior from De La Salle High School in his 6th season.
Really known more for his ability against the run, but that is a great matchup there with Trevor Keegan, a veteran. He can't get to McCarthy, but McCarthy throws that football and tries to go right over top of the big fella, but he's able to bat it away.
So JJ still looking for his first completion on a 3rd down play. Needs 18. Pressure again. And Loveland's got it in heavy traffic, makes the catch at the 21. They came after McCarthy that time. And it's 4th down.
Well, they got pressure on him that time. You know, they bring a twist of their own. He works back to the inside. He's off that edge. Just not picked up by the right tackle, Trente Jones, and it forces McCarthy. He wanted to hold that ball as long as he could to try to get it downfield, but good pressure. Defense steps up after that turnover by Penix.
Forcing a 38-yard field goal attempt from James Turner. Snuck his first attempt through from 31, and this one is right down the middle. So the first takeaway tonight, Michigan's been exceptional at cashing in their takeaways all season long. But Harbaugh's offense having to settle for 3. They stop the momentum and lead by 10. And now we'll see how Michael Penix looks when he gets back on the field with that right ankle. Wolverines add a field goal to the lead, and this season All-State celebrates every field goal and PAT by making a donation to the University General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. Go down to Molly for a report on the examination of Michael Penix Jr.'s right ankle. He's up walking around with a helmet, looks set to come back in.
Well, that Washington defense bailed him out, only giving up the 3 points.
And Michigan's offensive line helped bail him out too with those 2 penalties to really stall momentum in the red zone. Missed opportunity for Michigan to build on this lead. Molly, what have you got in the sidelines?
Well, you saw Michael Penix pointing to that right ankle in pain. He tested the mobility of that ankle, hopped up and down and was moving well. He didn't get it taped or anything, and then went up to Rome Odunze and said, "I'm good." And Odunze said, "Great, because we need you." Now at the half, head coach Kalen DeBoer said we need to get more explosive plays in the passing game, and they'll definitely need Michael Penix to step up on this drive.
Yeah, Molly, that's a severe understatement by Odunze. One of a handful of elite quarterbacks who were incredibly valuable to their teams this season. Irreplaceable is Penix. Johnson, speaking of injured lower body parts, continues to power through below 100%, picks up 4.
Just to pick up with Molly and what she said, and they're going to go probably a little bit tempo here, maybe a quick huddle, but Jesse Minter has done such a remarkable job tonight in his first half with his defense to take away the big play against Penix, Odunze, McMillan and company. The biggest completion they gave up was 16 yards in that first half.
As Odunze gets around the block of Westover, such a tough play to stop, and he picks up a first down.
Nice job, and up in front of him, the big tight end, Jack Westover, does what he needed to do. Good effort. Going to get that block right there on Will Johnson to get him to the corner. But again, hit the longest completion with 16 yards in the first half. That's the first time in the Kalen DeBoer era Washington hasn't had a 20-yard completion in the first half.
Wow. Screen to the tight end, Devin Culp. Big fella running through tackles. Trying to run over people. He's in Michigan territory with another first down. And a flag comes in after the play. Makari Page, Josh Wallace over there for Michigan.
I think it'll be on Page for the follow-through.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 7, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Culp, a 6th-year senior, been an effective occasional spot weapon, a change of pace for Westover.
And watch the follow-through by 7 right there. That's the penalty. Easy call for these ACC officials. Plays over right now. You see the official already blew his whistle right in front of the Washington bench. These penalties starting to add up a little bit for this Michigan football team.
Sure are. Sets up the Huskies at the 34. Play fake. Ball batted at the line. Incomplete. Looked like Kenneth Grant got a big hand up. Said, no.
Yeah. Into the first half when they got the touchdown, what did we see a lot of? We saw a lot of quick throws, a lot of quick huddles, a little bit more tempo, ball out of his hands faster. What are we seeing on this drive? A lot of the same stuff. Get the ball out. If they're going to sit back in coverage, get the ball out of his hands, count on yards after the catch.
Tybo Rogers takes the handoff. They run it on 2nd and 10, and Mason Graham stops him. Set up a 3rd and long now.
What a battle on the inside. Fatanu 55, Mason Graham 55. Just battle right here. These 2 big heavyweights going at it. Just a stalemate, and you see 5. Stewart come down to help out.
Huskies 0 for their last 5 third down attempts. Penix across the middle. It's Westover, but he's corralled 4 yards short of the first down by Josiah Stewart. And now a decision for DeBoer.
Watch how important this kind of pressure is, because of throws that usually you're going to see make. Delton Colt wide open. That is an easy throw if you have time. What was the key to this game? Can Michigan get Michael Penix off of his spot? We saw him throw darts last week against Texas. He had time to throw. That time on third down, not enough time, and he misses Colt for a big play.
No hesitation from the door. Put the 3 fingers up and sends out Grady Gross for this 45-yard attempt to get back within a touchdown. Gross drives it right through. So an exchange of field goals here in the 3rd quarter. Back to a 7-point Michigan lead. Rain, lightning, even some tornado watches earlier, but now the Goodyear blimp is up and flying, providing aerial coverage, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Taco Bell has brought the best of the regular season to the CFP, the Liv Moss student section. Free tickets tonight for students from both Washington and Michigan, giving back to the game's biggest fans, the students.
This Michigan offense, we were all marveling at Jim Harbaugh and Sharon Moore. Look at those first 3 drives, 17 plays, 235. The big runs by Donovan Edwards, 17 points. These last 4 drives, some adjustments made, not the same offensive production, only 17 plays and the 67 yards and the 3 points.
And penalties large. The 2 5-yard penalties on their possession after coming up with the interception. And a penalty in defense aiding Washington's field goal. Gross drives it into the end zone. Holly, what do you have?
Well, guys, this Michigan offensive line absolutely dominated the first half. They had over 200 yards rushing, 12 yards per carry. Sharon Moore, the offensive coordinator, is also the offensive line coach. And the first day he took the job, he locked the door on their meeting room, everybody inside. And he told this offensive line, we have to run this team if we are going to be successful. He changed the identity of this group, and they have taken to it. After they scored on that first touchdown with Donovan Edwards, Sharon Moore came over and was pounding his chest right over his heart, saying, we smell blood in the water. They have owned this game so far, and he's the one that changed that identity for this Michigan offensive front.
Done a great job, Sharon Moore has. He's passionate, emotional, and a very good football coach. 2-back look. Mullings and Edwards flanking JJ. Edwards has it, tries to bounce it, and a collision shoved out of bounds near the 30 by Hampton.
I really love that report about Holly and what she just said about Sharon Moore. He dealt with, we saw some emotion after the Penn State game. He was the guy that they turned to when Jim Harbaugh was suspended, did a really good job. But, what he's done with that offensive line, this is a school that prided itself for years, decades, on offensive line play. And I'm going to tell you something, it wasn't just 1 or 2 years. They lost their way for over a decade up front. And he's brought that mentality back, and they're recruiting, making that a priority, and they're back to playing Michigan football.
Perfectly said. On 2nd and 6, O-line throwing blocks for Edwards again, but he is met in the hole and driven back by Dom Hampton, top tackler on this defense.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot more active after those first 3 or 4 drives, getting up close to the line of scrimmage, almost like another linebacker his size, 6'3", 220. He's out here worried about the tight end potentially going out off play action, but his eyes in the backfield, able to help out and run support.
Wolverines still looking for their first 3rd down conversion tonight. Need 2. It's Corum in the backfield. He's got it, but he doesn't have the yardage. Quick penetration. Carson Bruner the legacy linebacker, joined by Braylon Trice. Another big stop for Washington's defense.
But watch these defensive linemen eat up the blockers that we just talked about. And there's Bruner, who's done a really good job this year as that third linebacker. They play 4 guys. He plays right in there behind 11. This time he gets downhill and makes a heck of a play. Look at that form tackle.
Bruner's dad, Mark, was a tight end, actually scored a touchdown against Michigan in that championship 91 season. He wore his dad's jersey, the actual game jersey on the
ball. That was cool. That was very cool.
Love the son honoring the dad who's part of that legendary Washington team. Really the only true championship the school has won. Fair catch made. Penix and the offense back to work. Down 7. This is the place to be. Look at this box. Michael Jordan up there. Derek Jeter in that white Michigan hoodie. Travis Scott over there in the right picture.
I guess that's the box to be in.
Stephen A. found his way in there.
Yeah, Dez is in there. Jess Sims on the far right. Travis Scott hanging out. I mean, you got everybody in there.
Those folks got to focus up. They're back to
we're back to playing football.
7-point game
Let's
here.
go.
Penix to Westover, who motioned across. Wolverines react and stop him for about a 5-yard gain. Sabb on the tackle.
Yeah, keep throwing that football, getting the ball to Westover. Very valuable tight end. Culp has had some chances to show what he can do. It's been some of their answer to the pressure and the depth of this coverage. Jesse Mentor again sticking with trying to keep these safeties back. The corners have some depth as well, so you got these underneath throws. You got to take them and you got to make something happen after the catch.
Polk comes back to get the screen, gets a block. Jalen Polk with a first down out across the 40. They've completed some nice passes in heavy traffic and then run after that.
That's it. Yeah, get the ball out this time instead of Westover. You're getting the ball out to one of your fleet-footed wide receivers. Great convoy of linemen getting out in front. Started with a block by Jack Westover, the tight end, 37. Now these linemen, good job of showing some athletic ability, and I love the patience there by Jalen Polk. Makes the catch, allows the lineman to get out in front of him, and then accelerates behind.
Second catch for Polk. Penix has really spread around the football well tonight. And falling down was McMillan. They tried to get the screen to him. He was out there in the perimeter, covered by Chris Jenkins.
Yeah. Looked like Jalen Harrell, who was just trying to get upfield. He lost his balance, and then watch Jalen Harrell go down, and that created the receiver McMullen to go down. But if he doesn't go down, should have seen that right sideline. Nobody in front of him. That would have been a big game.
You said that a lot tonight. There's some close calls for some big games.
Yeah, yeah.
As time on 2nd and 10, launching downfield for Polk, and running with him is Josh Wallace. Still haven't been able to get that deep shot connection.
So it's been underneath. It's been underneath. Now they're going to try to create the matchup that they want, and they want to go after 12. Josh Wallace to transfer from UMass, but give Wallace a lot of credit. Stride for stride there, gave him a cushion, and then ran with him from that slot position.
Just 2 for 8 on 3rd down. Wolverine fans up and making a lot of noise. Now they show some pressure, don't bring it, and a pre-snap flag. Simulated pressures, as you talked about in the evening. Valuable weapon for this
Prior
defense.
to the snap, false start, offense number 71, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Nick Saban called this Michigan defense a, quote, Ravens style. Of course, there's been such a connection between the Ravens and the Wolverines.
Absolutely. Washington had a chance when they threw the ball downfield. It was covered. This same route. Look at that grab on Adunze, who was lined up against Will Johnson. He threw to the left, but he had both options from the slot.
Wolverines again showing that pressure up the middle and then back out. Penix launching again. Contested catch. Odunze went up with one hand against Johnson. That matchup of future NFL stars just over his hand.
Watch what Johnson does to take away the cushion on that sideline. There's no room to make this throw. Grabs that jersey again. Boy, it's been a physical battle, and the ACC officials are letting it go. You can see a handful of jersey there, but my point was he took away. Quarterbacks are taught to throw that ball over the outside shoulder, but by him pushing Odunze to the boundary, there's just nowhere for Penix to make that throw.
McAllister to punt, and Jake Thaw, who had an adventurous Rose Bowl, muffed to punt late in the game, and then had to scramble back and field it at the 1 yard line to prevent it from going into the end zone. This one is not fielded and rolls dead all the way down at the 6. So the 56-yard punt puts field possession. McCarthy and the Wolverines backed up 5-11 in the third quarter. Reminder that Super Wild Card weekend, all builds to the Eagles and the Buccaneers. 4-5 game in the NFC Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Joe, Troy, and Lisa. Also Peyton and Eli on ESPN2. Bucs win that division and get the home field in that game at 9-8.
Yep.
Worst starting field position of the evening for the Wolverines from their 8.
And right in front of the Washington Husky fans.
Corum. They have closed him down, he and Edwards, since that explosive first quarter. No gain. Hampton becoming a force to run fills now.
Yeah, they've got 8 guys. They've been crowding the line of scrimmage. Linebackers are getting downhill. Since that first quarter where they just had those big plays by Edwards, 174 yards, 19 yards a carry. Look at the second quarter, and now it's carried over into the third quarter. The adjustments made by the co-defensive coordinators, William Inge and Chuck Burrell, really showing to be a very big impact on this game.
Very unique setup, those two guys co-coordinating. Corum again, we've had him in so many meetings. They kind of finish each other's sentences. They coach different positions. Chuck's kind of the safeties coach. Inge coaches the linebackers.
They do a great job. Kind of indicative of this team. Very selfless approach. That defensive front, man, they got pushed around. I think everybody that was watching that first quarter thought Washington is in trouble at the line of scrimmage.
I got my hand up.
Yeah, I think a lot of, how could you not? The way they were pushing them around, and they had that jumbo package, and Edwards was finding openings. Man, it's been a different story here the last couple quarters.
Washington crowding the line on this third down. McCarthy dodges some pressure, escapes, and J.J. McCarthy is still running, rambling out across the 30. The first time we've seen the quarterback use his legs tonight in a big play.
And watch how they show blitz, and now they bail. The reason that's important is they're playing Tampa 2. Those linebackers are out of there. J.J. McCarthy understands that instead of trying to force a throw, he sees that open up. We talked about it all night. His feet will be a factor at some point in this game. And a big third down, he's able to get to the sticks.
He converted third for the first time, Kirk. That's his longest run of the season at 22. Keeper again. This time no scramble. They just feed the hot hand, and the quarterback goes for another first down out across the 40.
Underrated athlete. Michigan fans know, but I don't know if the country knows what J.J. McCarthy can do with his feet. He's reading Braylon Trice, 8, who's collapsing down on the potential run. He's got nobody out there except a big tight end, Loveland, to lead him around the edge. We saw Orji come in and run the exact same play, reading the edge, got big yards, and with Trice collapsing down, that's a very simple, easy read, and very effective for positive yards there for Michigan.
Back-to-back first downs. It's been a frustrating night for J.J. throwing the football. Only 6 completions, finding a way to make a big impact as a runner. All of a sudden, a little more juice in that Michigan offensive line. Edwards off the left side picks up about 3.
Isn't it crazy how we just put a stat up? First quarter, 19 yards a carry. Then things change. 4.4 yards a carry in the second quarter, 4.2. Crowd's going wild. Third down, backed up by near their own goal line. Haven't converted a third down yet. And J.J. McCarthy pulls one down on third down, sees the linebackers clear out, and changes the complexion of not just this drive, but potentially the football game by that play alone.
Now pitch on the edge. Morgan is knocked down. Flying in is Kavikialana, who lost his hat, but makes a big play behind the line.
Boy, they have missed.
3.
Yeah, they have missed these safeties this year. They've had a lot of injuries with Kavikialana and Asa Turner haven't played a lot of ball, but they've come back here in the last couple games. That's great reaction. They saw that play all the way. They wanted to get the ball out into space with a fleet-footed freshman in Morgan, but he's taken away there by 13. What a play.
Another 3rd and long. Husky fans getting loud, making it tough.
See, Chris, they got those linebackers walked up. They've been bailing. Are they coming this time? They bail again.
Ball quickly out to the edge. Wilson does not get the first down yardage. Asa Turner flies over there. A Washington defense that had such injury troubles with their safeties. Turner, Kavikialana, in and out of the lineup all season. What a difference to have them both healthy.
Oh, it is. Communication and playmaking ability. He's got good length at 6'3". Heck of a job of getting off that block by Colston Loveland to make that play there on that 3rd down.
So McCarthy able to scramble and get Michigan out of trouble. Improve the field position for this punt by Tommy Doman. High boot. Giles Jackson lets it bounce, and it will check up nicely and be down around the 10-yard line. Well, there have been some twists and turns, those explosive runs by Michigan to claim that early lead. Washington gets a stop, turns it around, scores just before halftime, and then it's become like kind of a grinding game in the third, since the halftime, just a couple field goals in the 3rd quarter.
National championship on the line. This is what you expect, right? I mean, these two teams have battled through so much to get to this point. Some adversity can't slow them down. They've got to be able to fight through it, and both these teams have done that. Washington's defense has given themselves a chance. Every possession critical here at this point.
Penix needed to be careful here. Backed up. Now the Michigan crowd is a problem for him in that end of the field. A little hitch and a high throw, and it's over the head of Polk. You just don't see him do that very often. They kind of hitch and hesitation.
Yeah, he's reading Will Johnson in the flat. Little simple over-under read. If he's up tight, you got to go over top of that. This time he's got plenty of time. This is a throw that he makes 99 out of 100 times. That ball is behind Polk, but Johnson declared up front. Got to put that ball near the sideline, and that's an easy completion and first down.
Final 35 seconds of the quarter. Westover's been a reliable target, and he maneuvers nicely after the catch to get a first down out near the 30.
How about the big fella? 6'3", 250. Senior. They told us yesterday in our meetings how valuable. I think you or maybe Molly asked, who's a player that's really been underrated? They brought up Westover. He stepped up tonight.
Looks like a shot on the helmet there on the tackle. Able to move the sticks, and that will be the final play of this 3rd quarter. 15 minutes to finish 15-0 and win a national championship. Michigan and Washington battle into the final period in Houston. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Set for the 4th quarter, CFP National Championship presented by AT&T. Been a frustrating night for Michael Penix Jr. He's missed some open receivers. He's not seen other guys do an interception, but watch the leadership here. He's got those fingers in that Washington W, 4 fingers held in the air. All eyes on the quarterback as he tries to lift this team from a touchdown behind and lift his own play. Johnson, stiff arm, falls forward for about 4. Graham again on the stop.
Yeah, getting all those blocks. You know, you look at this 4th quarter. Think about these teams. They both pride themselves, right, on being battle tested. They talk about that with a sense of pride and what they've been through, and they think when it gets into the fourth quarter, if it's close, we know how to come together. We know how to find a way to win. It's going to get tested tonight for both these teams.
It was Michigan in the unfamiliar position, down for the first time in the second half against Alabama. Responded extremely well. Huskies done it all season long. Fingertip catch by McMillan, slung down by Will Johnson after a short gain, sets up third down and about 4.
There's a rare man-to-man blitz. Haven't seen a lot of this. Sinistro right here comes on the blitz, creates one-on-one. Have been seeing a lot of soft coverage. This time they're in zero. No safeties back at all. Got the ball out, forced that ball out quickly.
Third down for both offenses tonight has been a mighty struggle. 7 straight failed third down attempts for the Huskies. 3 receivers to the left. They throw back to the right and dropped. Will Nixon out of the backfield. Seldom used receiver, had space, took his eye off the football. Here comes the punt team.
Yeah, Junior Colston was blitz, showing blitz, and then gets out, and he's got to try to beat him to that spot out there. The problem is Will Nixon looked up to peek at him instead of just catching the football. He peeks to kind of see where is he before he secured the football. Easily would have picked up the first down there.
McAllister's been hitting those line drive punts that are rolling, so Michigan responds with 2 returners back there. Thaw and Morgan each back there. And they just step up and let it bounce over their heads, and it's going to continue to roll. So Michigan gets a stop to the 55-yard punt. J.J. McCarthy able to find calm and stillness in the midst of chaos. Back on the field after this.
Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy does this before every game. He uses his bare feet on the field to ground himself, breathing, meditation, and he spends a long time doing it. But right before this fourth quarter was about to start, he did something else that's significant. This is the team sports psychologist, and in the break, they did check in, look each other in the eyes, mantras, check in at the moment. This young man has unlocked more of the tools and skills than any athlete I've ever covered of his mental health, how to keep his brain sharp. His toolbox is full mentally. Will that help him finish this game physically?
Dennis has talked a lot about how Greg Harden has helped Michigan athletes for decades, going back to the time he was there.
Yeah, he's been there for a long time.
McCarthy needs to use all the poise he's got right here. Wolverines from the 16 on the move across the middle, and it's dropped. Running full speed, Johnson couldn't come up with it.
Again, this is a play Michigan loves to use where they have a levels concept. Johnson coming in from the backside. Good job of using it on 1st and 10. McCarthy has exactly what he wants, puts it right on the money, and Johnson just unable to secure that football before potentially getting hit there by 3. Powell.
Second and 10, handoff to Corum, who works his way to the left. Brought down after a 4-yard gain by Latuli Nasanoa.
Well, J.J. McCarthy has had a really quiet night. We've talked a lot, focused a lot on Michael Penix because Washington relies so much on his ability to throw. But McCarthy, usually a balanced attack. The run sets up the pass. Just 8 of 16, only 16 attempts.
It was 87 yards.
87 yards, yeah.
Again, third downs, a serious problem for both sides. 1 of 8 are the Wolverines. Huskies show some pressure. They do rush 5. McCarthy on the move. He eludes the pressure, but is not going to get away. Falls forward. Tanuafi was there and got just enough to get the quarterback down. 4th down.
Yeah, I think he was looking at Colston Loveland, the tight end, who was in motion right in the middle of the field. See how he's covered, wrapped up there by Bruner, the linebacker. Roman Wilson actually slipped, so nowhere to go. He tried to rely on his athletic ability to keep the play alive, and looks like his own feet may have tripped him up. Loses the balance and goes down.
It was Tanuafi actually who got a hand on the ankle, and then Goforth cleaned it up. So again, Washington's defense has been stout. On third down, they did a good job with a 55-yard punt, flipping the field position. And now Jackson on the return, going to get hit hard with the 34. 45-yard punt, Penix and the Huskies back to work.
The CFP National Championship is presented by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And in part by Taco Bell and Modelo, the mark of a fighter.
Great atmosphere. How festive is this?
Fantastic.
Hands up and singing in the break.
Yeah, I mean, 11:52 to go. The Michigan defense done a good job of creating some confusion. It's a play that Odunze misses with a bust in the back end by Rod Moore. Here they get a pass interference call, but look at Odunze on that crosser against man coverage. Goes the other way, gets the interference, but misses a potential touchdown. Pre-snap to post-snap, misses the tight end because of the pressure. So overall, really good job by Michigan of creating a pre-snap to post-snap look, affecting the O-line and the protection without having to blitz. Now, with all that being said, you just feel like at any moment, Odunze or Polk or any of these receivers, McMillan, could get downfield and win a one-on-one matchup.
Just thinking that, as big a struggle as it's been, one lightning strike from this passing game could change everything. Penix is looking to launch, throws it underneath, and it's incomplete. Nicely broken up. The intended receiver was Polk, and it was Saab who came across.
Now here's the matchup. Polk, who had a big game last week and has had a great season, looks like he has his hands on the ball, but Saab works through in the body and gets that football out of there, just playing with physicality.
Pump fake now launching for Odunze deep, but he's got it over the shoulder. He beat Will Johnson. And there is that lightning strike, but there is a penalty marker down. And the Huskies are walking back.
Fitz, number 73, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Roger Rosengarten is the right tackle, negating what would have been a 32-yard play. Check it out.
That was the play we thought might be coming. He's all the way on the right side, grabs with the left. Boy, Bill, what did you see there? Did he grab with the left hand?
Yeah, that left hand and to pull down the cross.
He pulled down with the right.
Enormous call. Ends up being a 42-yard swing. Sets up a 2nd and 20. Underneath, McMillan upended by Sainristil still after a couple. It'll be third and extra long.
Not only do they lose the potential big gain on that double move, a little slant and go by Odunze, but then again they get behind the sticks on 2nd down and long, and now they're at 3rd and 18.
I don't know if these fans expected quite this much defense when they showed up, but they've each been roaring in support of their respective defenses. This does not feel like a neutral field game. It feels like a home game for whoever's on defense. Underneath, Johnson is trying to get some of the yards back. Colson's got him down, and the Huskies will have to punt it.
Yeah, that holding call brings them back and gets him way behind. Penix been battered. Even when they don't get to him. I love Jesse Minter said, listen, we don't need sacks. We need to affect Michael Penix. Batting balls down, hitting him after he throws, making him uncomfortable. With 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, mission accomplished so far for Michigan's defense.
They've just got that one sack. In fact, that's their only tackle for loss after 10 of them against Alabama. But as you said, they've gotten near the quarterback.
Yeah.
And affected him big time. Another ugly kind of line drive boot. There were 2 returners back there again, and Thaw makes the fair catch. A punting duel here so far in the fourth quarter. It's Michigan with the football back, up a touchdown. Appreciate aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, road tested and game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. 9:44 to play in regulation. We'll say that after last week. The Ram Trucks postgame is coming up. The trophy, the confetti, winning players and coaches, of course. Michigan. Touchdowns in their first 2 possessions. Haven't scored since the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Haven't gotten to the end zone, I should say. McCarthy pulls it and finds Loveland over the middle. And the tight end galloping deep into Husky territory. The man from Idaho makes a huge play.
It's one thing for him to make a catch like this, and they've been trying to work him in over the middle. Watch the defensive linebackers get downhill. He's got a tight window, puts it in there. What a catch by Loveland with the length at 6'5" to go up and make that play.
It changes everything in field position. Corum a short gain. Loveland, a guy who played every sport in high school up there in Idaho, including rodeo. He's a 3rd and 4th grader. He was roping goats.
Goats? Huh?
Yeah, as an athlete.
He is an athlete. Great throw, goes up, soft hands for a big man. And then how about the yards after the catch? By the way, Sherrone Moore, 1st and 10, sensing that Washington's been doing a good job against the run, selling out, linebackers downhill. Great time to trust your quarterback to make that throw.
Jay Harbaugh recruited him and had to convince his father, take a chance on this guy from Idaho. And Jim was sold. McCarthy on the move. Finds Wilson, and Roman Wilson turns the corner. Michigan suddenly, just like that, has the offensive rhythm back. They're at the 15.
Watch McCarthy wait this out. He's reading Powell and deciding if Powell's going to take the underneath receiver, Roman Wilson, or going to sink back. He finally sinks back, declares himself, makes it simple. But I love how McCarthy didn't hurry. He didn't get impatient, just dump it. He waited. Powell sinks, get it to Wilson, positive yards, and get yards after the catch for the first down.
Wolverines shift around. They had 4 receivers to the right. Now totally changed the formation. It's Corum. Able to burst forward for a few. 200-yard backs tonight for the Wolverines. Edwards with those 2 long touchdown runs early. Corum has been grinding away, averaging 6.6 per carry himself.
One thing that Michigan has the ability to do down here is they always save a play or 2 for late in the game, and usually Donovan Edwards is involved, whether it's a halfback pass or some kind of trickery. They've done that a lot in this last 2 years with McCarthy at quarterback.
It's a very crafty play calls down here. Instead, they just hand it this time to Corum. Steps back, breaks a tackle. Touchdown, Michigan. The Wolverines rediscover the end zone. It's Corum's record-breaking touchdown. He broke the record for Michigan career rushing touchdowns last week that he shared with Anthony Thomas. Another one tonight.
A.J. Barner leads the array. The left guard also is able to get around Keegan. And Washington just missed the tackle right there. And good hard running by Blake Corum gets him into the end zone.
And the extra point, Doinks off the left upright, but banks in. Michigan special teams were a serious problem last week. A little lucky there.
And it all started with that play-action play on 1st and 10. The big tight end, Colston Loveland, got the drive going, changed the complexion of the momentum of things, got Michigan into more of an up-tempo approach on this drive. They sensed an opportunity. They capitalized with a little over 7 minutes to go. Jim Harbaugh is feeling good.
From the camera on top of the crossbar, the doink, and then bouncing through. There's the hat cam. Turn that hat up and signal good. McCarthy is shoved for his offensive coordinator. Such great affection for Sherrone Moore. None of the players were surprised at all when he stepped in. and became the acting head coach on game day when Harbaugh was suspended, and did such a tremendous job calling the plays, but also taking over head coaching responsibilities, which he hasn't done before.
That's right.
All right, now, Kirk, you got 7:09. You're now down 2 touchdowns, and you got all kinds of big play weapons. Had an opportunity nullified by that holding call in the last possession, which looms huge. What can Penix count on here?
Well, he's going to have to continue to try to be who he is and who this offense is, and he's going to have to do it with some urgency. You're playing a team that likes to run the ball, control the clock. You're down a couple scores, not just trying to make plays. He's got to do it. He's got to get to the line and have that urgency that he knows he needs to have.
As time delivers a high throw, Polk comes back to catch it, and a short gain. Continues to fight hard, but gang tackling. It's about a 4-yard gain.
Yeah, they moved that up to about the 29. That defense again flying around. Michigan, the best in the country at turnover margin at +17. We got 1 turnover tonight. Jesse Minter's guys trying to rip that ball out of there if they get a chance or come up with an interception to ice this game.
Turn the takeaway into 3 in the 3rd quarter. Launching downfield, Odunze's wide open. A bust. And this time the play will stand. He's inside the Michigan 30.
You talked about the bust, and you can see the communication there, making sure they're on the same page, and they're not. Sainristil looking at the outside to Will Johnson to say, hey, are we on the same page? He gave him some kind of signal there. We saw a bust earlier to that same side where Penix missed a wide open Odunze, and this time he hits it.
He got pressure, Kirk. He was leaning back and just flicked the ball downfield. And immediately a misfire up front for Washington.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty.
Talked about the lack of explosive plays. That 44-yarder is the kind of thing that Penix and these receivers did all season long. Hard to come by tonight.
Yeah, and this motion right here by McMillan, that's what affected the communication, Chris, and that's where they ended up having the bust, is they were a little unsure who had the inside and who had the outside receiver. And as you mentioned, a good job by Penix feeling the pressure from Mason Graham to get that ball out.
Finding some space in the pocket over the head of Westover. Did a good job navigating the pressure, but that was way off target.
Yeah, you're going to slide him out here. Watch the linebacker here. He just loses his balance and goes down. McBurroughs, I think, the nickel back. And this is an example of one of the most gifted quarterbacks that we've seen in a long time. He goes no look there. Instead of the night that he's had where he's been a little bit uncomfortable most of the night, he misses a wide open receiver just because I think his motor and his brain is moving so fast to make these decisions.
Steps up, delivers a low throw. Again, the pressure got to him, disrupted the timing. Nixon went down low. Again, Mason Graham flooded in there. It's going to be 3rd and about 13 here.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's had as good a game in the Rose Bowl in the national championship for Michigan as number 55. He was the Rose Bowl defensive MVP last week. He's having his way in the interior tonight against the run and the pass. He's only a true sophomore. He's a name to remember next year for sure.
Huskies with 2 plays if they need him to get to 13 here. Under 5 minutes to play. Penix launching for McMillan, overthrown. Strong coverage by Sainristil. Low percentage throw. It's 4th down.
And this time Sainristil's in great position, making this a really tough throw. You know, he's got experience at playing corner. He gets out there against one of the more gifted slot receivers in the country, one-on-one. It takes that angle away for Penix, and they got to go for it here on 4th and long.
Absolutely. Wolverines get a stop here, and they can smell the first championship in 26 years. And now, Kalen DeBoer, it's Michigan, going to take a timeout on defense here, making sure that they get everything lined up. See Penix just being looked at by athletic trainers, just been, as you said, uncomfortable. It's the perfect word all night.
Yeah, and again, I think that was the goal. Look at this place, by the way. How great. This is a national championship at a neutral site.
And that song, written by a student back in 1898, Louis Elber, The Victors, played with gusto by this band. Here we go. Wolverines trying to get the football back and begin to put this one away.
Now they've had some seams that have been open tonight. The slot fades have been open. Let's see what they go with.
Pressure. Penix spins away, heaves it downfield, incomplete. There are 2 flags on the play. Penix is flat on his back. There was a flag in the offensive pit, and then obviously interference downfield. Penix, again, really slow to get up, Kurt.
Yeah, gets hit again as he throws his football.
He's got his right hand on his hip. Looks like he feeling some pain in the midsection.
Holding, offense, number 73. Pass interference, defense, number 2. The foul's offset, 4th down.
We'll do it again in 4th and 13.
Jalen Harrell that time, he causes the hold on the right side of the offensive line with quickness. A slow reaction, getting out the snap by Rosengarten. Credit to Michigan crowd for that one. And then the underthrown deep ball. Johnson gets lost, never sees the football, and that contact brings that penalty.
Kirk, they travel Johnson to the far side. He's one-on-one against the Dunze to the left of Penix. How about that for a matchup? You trust your receiver against one of the best DBs in the country. Penix looks the other direction down the seam. It's intercepted by Sainristil. Mikey Sainristil has a couple of blockers. A convoy. Michigan set up inside the 10. Mikey Sainristil. Biggest play of this defense tonight.
He really tries to squeeze one in, and how excited is Jack Harbaugh and his brother John. Look how tight this coverage is, and he decides to put it in. He does have a Dunze back here, and he never looked for him. Instead, he tries to squeeze it into coverage, even to the right flat. The tight end, Jack Westover, is open. It's almost a check down. At least would have had maybe a chance. But instead, he tries to throw a Hail Mary into Jalen McMillan.
81-yard return for Sainristil. I think you said it well all night. The things that are usually so easy, so almost automatic for Penix. You see Odunze in single coverage all season long. He's gone that way. And when you need a play, he doesn't go that way. And now Michigan just piles down near the goal line. Mullings or Corum to stop just short.
And how fitting for Mikey Sainristil to make that play. He is a leader of this team. These last 2 years, a captain, started his career as a receiver, has moved over to defensive back, and one of the great leaders that has driven this team all the way to this championship night.
One of the most interesting careers ever in this sport. 33 games at wide receiver, and then he's become one of the best nickelbacks in the country.
Plays with an edge, too. Sets the tone for that defense.
Corum behind Bredesen. He's got it. Michigan barrels in. And the maize and blue on the brink of ending a championship drought. If you'd have told Kalen DeBoer or anybody in that Washington team your offense is going to score 13 tonight. They would never have believed you. Neither would we, frankly. Two interceptions thrown by Penix tonight. The one early in this half, and this one to just seal it.
Yeah, he tried to squeeze one in to one of his go-to receivers in Jalen McMillan. Great job of playing zone, eyes on the football. Sanders still does what he needs to do, shows what he can do after that interception. One of the great leaders on his football team. We thought he'd take it to the house. Instead, he sets up McCarthy in his offense, and how fitting, number 2 on the other end. You get the interception by number 0, a great leader on that side. And then Blake Corum, with the career that he's had and how much he's meant to this program, pounds it in. And Michigan they're just minutes away from this national championship now.
There was Corum with as they begin to talk about the ring. Yeah, that's something that Joe Burrow, I think, made popular. You know, Corum, that decisive touchdown in the Rose Bowl, then walks to that camera, kind of gives that mean mug. You know, he's shown tremendous determination. His nose broken, I don't know how many times, blood all over his face in different games. Just keeps going. And Odunze headed to stardom on Sunday, frustrated by this night. And Ngata on the return is stacked up. What did he say? A hungry pack of wolves. He wants Michigan to hunt like that. At times tonight they've looked a lot like that.
I'll tell you, man, the story of this game has been this Michigan defense. Think about what they've been through and all this discussion off the field. I think they quieted a lot of critics with their ability to play here. Since that was behind them, they just went out and played football. Think about how they played against Jalen Milroe and that Alabama offense, the big play threat tonight against Penix. We've seen Penix make throws downfield, leads the nation in 20-yard completions, nothing downfield. Defensive line wins the battle at the line of scrimmage, especially the interior. It's a heck of a plan put together to take Penix out of his game.
Polk on a short route. Only no time for the underneath stuff, down 3 scores. A flag comes in on the hit. You can see that Penix has been in a whole lot of pain throughout the second half. Again, it's just the one sack. Isn't it remarkable? He's actually only hit the deck once, but he's been hit and harassed so often.
Yeah. Again.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 2. The previous play is under further review.
So Will Johnson flagged for targeting. Mark McEnany, the replay official for this ACC crew, will work with Marcus Woods. Bill Lamagna is with us tonight.
He did come in with the crown of the helmet, but he went over the top and he got him with a shoulder. The replay can't support this one.
Kind of a combo shoulder helmet, would agree.
But it wasn't the crown, and he was a runner.
So it doesn't meet the standard of defenseless player.
No.
You don't see a launch there.
I mean, I can see it being suspect, but for it to be on the runner,
after further review, crowned. There is no foul for targeting. Number 2 may remain in the game. Second down.
Wait, Billy.
Boyd seeking Penix just looks like he's aged in front of our eyes by a couple decades out there, just in a lot of pain, moving around very stiffly, trying to just finish with pride the best he can here. Across the middle, off the fingertips of McMillan.
This is the game in a nutshell. They're not blitzing, but they are, as they say, affecting Michael Penix. Watch Mason Graham with a spin move. Watch Harrell come off the edge. They just win in the battle up front. Little spin move. Look how they're collapsing down. Almost every throw, he's throwing as he's falling backwards because of the pressure. in his face all night by this Michigan front.
Final 3 minutes, trying to convert on third down. Will Nixon is not going to get it. So that's 0 for their last 11 third down conversions. 4th and 1 now.
The two goals of this defense, number one, get Michael Penix off his spot, affect him, make him uncomfortable. And then number two, we gotta not give up the 50-50 balls downfield, which they've done a great job of that. And then tackling in space. If you do that, you're going to play well, and that's the blueprint of what they've done throughout this game.
They run for it with Nixon to move the sticks here. Down 3 scores. He's got to think about a deep downfield shot that any chance at an onside kick could stage a miracle comeback. It's incomplete. Big hit delivered by Keon Sabb, one of the safeties who kind of rotates in that Wolverine defense. Not one of the more heralded guys on the team, but he's made some big plays tonight.
Oh yeah, and looking down on that field, you start thinking a little bit about some of the seniors and the leaders have been around and put some time into this program, and the leadership. Michael Barrett, 23, Junior Colson. There's Chris Jenkins, 94, Mikey Sanders still. I mean, these guys have been through so much, and it's been a player-led team to get them to this game. And I think forever, for Michigan fans, that's what they'll appreciate about this team. And Blake Corum and J.J. McCarthy on the other side.
Penix, almost a third interception tonight. He tried to find Polk, lofted the pass, and again is knocked to the ground. Slow to get up and still holding that midsection.
That's, again, not sacked, but just throwing it and hoping and getting hit again. That time, Derek Moore.
Think about the amazing 2-year career at Washington for Penix since coming from Indiana. Finally staying healthy. Incredibly productive in this offense. Tremendous leader, very clutch, but he and this Husky offense more than meeting their match tonight in the maize and blue. Teams come after him. Oregon challenged him. Arizona State, some of the teams in the Pac-12, but nothing like this to limit this Washington offense to a single touchdown.
Now, anytime you see these teams get together, these teams will be in the same conference next year, but a Big Ten Pac-12 matchup, you just wonder when you look at the Big Ten and the depth, and is Michigan ready for these battles against Alabama and eventually against Texas or Washington? And they have proven to be more than capable and worthy of stepping up against these teams outside of their conference.
October the 5th in Husky Stadium, the rematch of this game. So Michigan will spend a timeout here in this 4th and 10 play. Been a gritty performance from Penix. That area of the body there, he's got that protective padding around it, but he's taking a lot of shots.
Yeah, and it's really almost every pass that he makes when he gets hit, he's grimacing and holding that right side.
You'll examine it after the game. You have to wonder if there is a rib problem. Think about Michigan. They were in danger of going down 2 scores a couple of times in the second half against Alabama. Defense got some big stops. Milroe had the fumble. They got it back to 7, and then they went 75 yards in that touchdown drive. 4th down conversion early in it. Harbaugh believing in his offense. They validated that. Get to overtime. And then a tremendous job in the trenches to earn the spot here. And the trenches for them have been the story again tonight. Michigan muscle, the decisive factor. 4th and 10, backpedaling, and it's incomplete. Off the hands of Devin Colt. And Michigan will take over and just bleed out the last 149. '97, Charles Woodson and that Wolverine company. Brian Greasy, they beat Ryan Lee from Washington State in the Rose Bowl. That year, Nebraska beat Peyton Manning in Tennessee. They split the national championship. Michigan AP national champion. So in this era of the playoff, of course, this is a consensus. Not to say that a split national title isn't a big deal. It's a lot bigger deal to go 15-0 and win this on the field. I'll say that.
No doubt about it. There's no discussion. And this team just played their best football from the Ohio State game on into the Big Ten championship, out to Pasadena, now down to Houston. Played for each other and end up national champs.
Michigan team number 144. They like to number them from year one. The group that went over 1,000 wins all time. This will be win 1,004. Will also be the first 15-0 team in Michigan history. Harbaugh's pretty good at eluding the Gatorade bath. He doesn't like it.
Yeah.
See if he's able to do that tonight.
And Kalen DeBoer doing the right thing with the 3 timeouts. Just let this clock go down. This game is over.
Harbaugh has dodged questions about his future, saying, I hope to have one, with a kind of a glib joke. He did tell us, I believe he loves Michigan. I believe he wants to be there. Who knows what kind of offer he'll get.
Taking a photo down there.
For now, he is enjoying every second coaching his alma mater to a national championship.
Oh, he got out of there.
He is uncanny at avoiding that.
Quick like a cat. Can't get me. Can't get me.
Still dry.
Got his arm a little bit.
Hey, it's a polarizing figure. There are people out there that believe that whatever Michigan does is tainted. That's up to you to decide. But hail, hail Michigan. They are the champions of college football 2023. In this collision, Kirk, of teams we've admired so much, built with veterans who've been through so much for 5 and 6 years, one team was going to come short. Tonight it's Washington, and you feel for them. DeBoer has rarely lost in his career, including his couple years at Washington, but his team just did not have the juice and the muscle to handle this Michigan team tonight.
Yeah, you got to give Washington, like you say, a lot of credit. 2 years that Kalen DeBoer has been there. They're going to be back. They're headed to the Big Ten. And, of course, for Jim Harbaugh and Michigan, what a season, what a story.
Let's see how quickly Harbaugh can elude Holly Rowe as we go down to the championship coach.
Well, Coach, you've escaped the Gatorade all this time. Yeah. How sweet does this little bath feel right now?
It's pretty great. You know, you watch this confetti come down, it's like thousands of confetti. It tells a story. There's a story in every one of those pieces of confetti to me. Amazing blue confetti. Just so proud of our team.
What's the story that your team tells tonight, Coach? It's hard to be perfect.
15-0. Took on all comers, and still the last one standing. Champions.
You're the son of a coach. You've been in these moments before, but how's this one different because it's yours and your team's?
It's just such a glorious feeling. I mean, really don't have any more words than that, you know. Maybe to quote J.J. McCarthy, bet.
Hey, Coach, who has it better than you right now?
Nobody. Thank you.
Thank you. J.J. McCarthy, you have visualized this moment every single day for the last year. How does reality compare?
It's glorious. That's all I can say. I just love my teammates so much. I love my coaches. It's bittersweet because this is going to be the last time we get to play together. I love those guys so much. It's just such a special group, and no better way to end it. No better way.
You had a big moment in this game. Your back's against the wall in the fourth quarter, and you pull off the longest run of your season. How did you keep that drive alive and gain the distance to win?
Just all film study. They just give it up on third downs, and I had to take advantage of it at some time. And, offensive line did a great job of holding up so they couldn't shed on their blocks, and, the rest was history.
Coach has called you the greatest college quarterback to ever play at Michigan. What do you think you are?
I think I'm J.J. McCarthy, kid from LaGrange Park, Illinois, that's just trying to be the best he could possibly be every day. That's all I think of myself as.
How about you add national champion to that?
Say that one more time.
National champ?
Yeah, we'll take that. That's for sure.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Let's go to Molly with Blake Corum.
Blake, you returned to Michigan for this moment. What gave you the faith that this group could get it done?
God, God gave me the faith. Last year I wasn't here. I said it last week, I'll say it again, I wasn't here, but we came back as a team, we came back as brothers, and this is what we came back for. We came back to get a natty, came back to win for Michigan, and we did it. I'm just so blessed. I'm kind of speechless, just trying to take everything in.
You mentioned it. You missed last year's run with an injury. You now have 27 rushing touchdowns on the season. How meaningful is it for you to be such an integral part of this title run?
It means so much because I felt helpless last year. But, I do have 27 touchdowns, but, I couldn't have done it without my offensive line, my tight ends, my receivers, just a team effort. I'm so blessed to be a part of Team 144. I love this team with all my heart. I'm going to miss it.
It's been a season of distractions and adversity. How did this team stay focused to get Michigan's first title in 26 years?
We just stood together as brothers. We have something special. We have built a strong culture at the University of Michigan, and especially inside Schembechler Hall. It started in the locker room, but when we faced adversity, we just looked to our right, looked to our left, and knew we couldn't let our brothers down. And that's what we did. We just locked arms and just kept going forward, and now we're national champs.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chris.
Resilience and adversity used a lot to describe this team. On the other side, a team that had been incredibly resilient and tough all year long. Dylan Johnson gave it his best tonight on a foot that he injured in the semifinal. He's battled pain and injury all season long. Look at Penix. Walked in overflowing with confidence. Battered and beaten by that Michigan defense. And just one of those nights, Kirk, when everything that had looked so easy and effortless was just really difficult and challenging and uncomfortable tonight for him.
Yeah, it was. Instead of looking at him like what happened to Michael Penix, I think it's more about there's Jalen Harrell coming over to give him some love. It's really more about Harrell and that Michigan defense and what they did tonight. And he is beat up.
But you're right. What's remembered about this guy is what he did all season long. There's Kalen DeBoer. He's emotional because it's the last go-around, the last time he gets to be with this particular group of seniors, the veterans who were there in the awful times for Washington, the 4-8 season before DeBoer got there, and then built it back and got on the brink to fall at the final hurdle. Michigan on top, champions for the first time this century, 15-0. That's immortality in college football. That's unforgettable stuff. We enjoyed this broadcast. As always, Bill Bonnell, our producer, Jimmy Platt directing his first championship game. Outstanding job by him and our entire crew. A lot more coming up here from Houston. But we'll officially transition now to the Ram Trucks postgame.
Thanks for watching this special presentation of ESPN, home of the College Football Playoff National Championship game, presented by AT&T.
And we welcome you back to the Ram Trucks postgame. Michigan 34, Washington 13. Wolverines building an early lead. 2-touchdown burst by Donovan Edwards, who hadn't scored since about mid-season. He took command. Washington hung in there, chipped away, but Michigan able to come up with 2 takeaways in the second half. Corum a couple touchdown runs. Hugs, kisses, smiles, and tears on the Mason Blue side in a moment. Just a kid from LaGrange, Illinois. Huh?
Love it.
Got to get a little bit better every day.
What an impressive kid he is, by the way, right?
Big time. He hasn't decided yet or said whether or not this is it in a Michigan uniform. Much more to talk about here in Houston. Reactions, the comments from more of the Wolverines, but now to Scott Van Pelt.
Chris, thank you very much. Scott Van Pelt getting set for SportsCenter. Following the trophy ceremony, we'll have the extensive highlights of the evening, how the title was won by Michigan. Plus, we hope to visit with Coach Jim Harbaugh. Also get the losing perspective as well. An exclusive interview with Kalen DeBoer, whose Washington Huskies had a brilliant, brilliant season that comes up just a tad short. Back now to Houston. Chris and Kirk. Gentlemen.
Scotty, thank you. And, of course, the COVID pandemic affected the world. It affected the little world of college football. Don't know if it affected any team more than Michigan. They really had a terrible time in that shortened season of 2020. Things were kind of coming apart.
Yeah.
Culture that they always aspire to have just wasn't there. But the veterans who were there hung around, and what an incredible recovery in the last couple of years.
And you have to remember the changes that Jim Harbaugh made after that 20 season. He got younger with his staff. He brought in some coaches that really got him to another level. It changed the energy and changed the juice, and they got on a mission. You know, they were able to beat Ohio State in 21, and I think that season propelled them. There have been steps to this point. That Aiden Hutchinson team in 21, and then the last couple years, and the culmination tonight to win it all.
On the other side of it, you saw the Washington players just sinking in, not just that they lost the game, but their run together is over. You know, 15-0 before 1900. Some of these teams, by the way, in the black and white pictures, beat high school teams. Not to downplay Yale and Penn, with all due respect. Clemson broke that long drought, went 15-0. Then the next year, Joe Burrow and LSU 15-0. Georgia with Stetson Bennett getting those back-to-back titles perfect last year. Now it's almost becoming normal, and it should never be considered normal.
Right.
Go 15-0 in college
Let's appreciate
football.
it. Let's appreciate what just happened.
It's going to take more than 15-0 to win the championship next year. Harbaugh and the Wolverines night here in Texas. More after this.
The Ram Trucks postgame is brought to you by Ram Trucks, America's best light-duty pickup for new vehicle quality.
Welcome back to the Ram Trucks postgame. Michigan, as it turned out, had all the points they needed to win this game in their first two possessions. Each drive capped by a long touchdown run by Donovan Edwards. Margin was 7 at halftime, but Washington had some momentum right away. A quick takeaway, a Penix interception. At third quarter, kind of a grinding quarter. Exchange of field goals as the guys get to wear the flashy glasses that go to the ones who create a takeaway. Third championship is considered the pole era, which goes back to 1936. But again, unlike the one in 97, this was consensus, one on the field.
How about
unanimous?
Michigan 303 yards rushing. That's a championship game record. Washington had 301 total yards. So they had more yards rushing than Washington had total yards.
4 rushing touchdowns. We know that many Maize and Blue fans might want to pick up some CFP National Championship merch. You can get it right now. Shop.collegefootballplayoff.com. Get the order in. Jim Harbaugh finally did get down. It's just the persistence of a veteran football team, Kirk, because they missed him the first time. But as he sets up with Holly here, he's distracted.
Bingo.
Boom,
Bingo. They got him. All right. Now we go.
He's not thrilled. And there's his brother John. Hey, what about the possibility that Harbaugh could win the national championship and the Super Bowl? John is the top seed in the AFC, and there is Jack. Nobody has it better than the Harbaughs tonight.
That's so good.
Mr. Harbaugh.
He said best coach. There's Mom. That's awesome, man. Good for them. What a night. Said his best coach he's ever been around is Jack Harbaugh.
Well, that was, again, part of the stories that Harbaugh was telling us. His dad's an assistant coach in Iowa, living in this little house. He and John, it's all they've known, really. It's all they've known growing up around football, playing, and eventually coaching.
This team will be celebrated in Ann Arbor forever, and they should be.
Reese Davis on the platform there to take us through the trophy presentation. Reese?
It is a delighted trophy stand here as the Michigan Wolverines are the College Football Playoff National Champions. I want to take a minute to congratulate not only the victors Valiant, but also congratulate Washington on a wonderful season, hard-fought game, one befitting of a title match that we had tonight. Before we present this trophy, which has been the ultimate goal, we want to talk to the players of the game first. The offensive player of the game tonight from Michigan is Blake Corum. Blake, you guys were able to set the tone early. You ran for more yards in the first half than Washington had given up in a game all season. How do you think that set the tone for the rest of the night?
We knew we needed to set it early. The offensive line, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to the tight ends and receivers. Y'all really killed it today. Michigan, we did this for you.
You were coming back off an injury, didn't get a chance to do the things you wanted to do a year ago, and you guys had a singular focus all year. Now that this moment's been realized, how does it compare to what you imagined it would be?
This is everything I imagined. When we said to come back, it was a lot of us. We said we had unfinished business. So I'll leave y'all with this. Business is finished.
The business was indeed finished. Over 100 yards tonight, found his way to the end zone repeatedly as he has throughout his career. The defensive player of the game tonight really turned things around early in the second half. The great defensive back, Will Johnson, both wearing number 2, by the way. Number 2 is a good night for teams that are going to be number 1. Will, tell me about the play. Washington gained a little momentum late in the first half, but you came out and made a play along the sideline with just a spectacular interception.
Man, that's all credit to Coach Minner. D-line up front, they made that play for me, and I just capitalized on it.
You guys seem to have this prolific passing attack, and particularly Michael Penix, who's a great quarterback, but you had him off rhythm and uncomfortable all night. How did you go about doing that?
First of all, I just want to give credit to those guys. Those coaches over there, they did a great job all season in this game too. But like I said, preparation, Coach Minner, Coach Herb, Coach Harbaugh, they had us in the right position this game.
Why has this team been able and been so good at avoiding distractions?
Just faith in God. We just thank God for where we are. He had our back all year. We had faith in him all year through all the ups and downs, and that's what got us here today.
Will, congratulations. Will Johnson, a defensive player of the game. And now let's talk, if I can find him, the head coach of the Wolverines, Jim Harbaugh. Hey, Jim, congratulations.
Thank you.
I heard you tell Holly Rowe that each one of these pieces of confetti had a story. What story are these confetti pieces telling right now?
It was a journey, a spiritual journey. Just took counsel from God, the Holy Spirit, this team, everybody, unanimous support for each other. I ain't got a question, but my dad does.
Jack Harbaugh, what's your question?
I have a question. A question, if I might. Who has us? No!
What does this mean, Jim, to be able to share this? Those look good on you, pal. Those look good on you.
Will Johnson, too. Will Johnson, too.
What does it mean to be able to share this with your dad, your brother John here, and to reach this pinnacle for university in a place you love?
Yeah, I just want to say to my two great loves, my family at work, this team, and my family at home, I love you. I love you. Congratulations.
Jim, when you think about what your mission was when you came back to Michigan, a Michigan man, which says means so much to you, what does this mean for Michigan football big picture in the modern era, the first undisputed championship?
15-0. This is a spectacular team, and I would just say there are over 100 Michigan men that are on this team in uniform tonight. And what they've done for the last 372 days is amazing. They're champions, simply known as national champions. Pull it down! Pull it down! We did that! We did that!
Did it indeed, and to the victor, the spoils, Bill Hancock. Present. Jim, you might want to stick around for this part. Bill Hancock, the executive director of the college football playoff, to present the national championship trophy to Michigan.
Thank you, Reese. Tonight, with this awesome crowd in this wonderful building, is a fitting conclusion to the 10th college football playoff. and I'm here tonight on behalf of the conferences and schools that administer the playoff to present the national championship trophy to Coach Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines.
Here it is. They won't pull that down. Chris, as they say in Ann Arbor, conquering heroes, victors valiant, Michigan national champions for the 2023 season. Chris, back to you.
Now, Reese, thank you. And as Harbaugh said, we did that. That was an interesting side of Harbaugh that you don't ever see. I mean, that was something.
With the shades, too. Yeah.
Well, Queen will play us off here. Remember, this team had lost their 2 previous playoff games. Embarrassed by Georgia, beaten by TCU, and driven by that a promise made by McCarthy and the return that a lot of veterans got here.
Congratulations to this Michigan football team, a player-led team focused on the goal of winning this championship, and they got it.
They had to earn it. Along the way, there were bumps. Some of the adversity self-created, but look at those players. 15-0, champions of college football. The Sports Center now, and Scott Van Pelt.